Howdy, howdy. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I put the outro in first instead of the intro because I don't usually have to do these things because I don't, Michael put that together. But, and that brings up Michael is a little under the weather today. He's got a head cold and a little bit of a fever. So he's taking the day off, and Lindy's taking the day off too because it was their busy season. She helps her daughter in the flower shop, and it was Mother's Day. I guess that's the biggest time of year. So she's been working like a mule for about a month now. So she's taking the day off because it's very early where she's at. So they both need a much needed day off to reboot the batteries. So I'm holding down the fort by myself. So you guys will have to bear with me. But how is everybody's Mother's Day going? Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. It was some of you like Lindy, and I know Sandra, it was your Mother's Day yesterday, I believe. Yeah. So happy Mother's Day and belated Mother's Day to everybody. I'm totally flying solo, Karen. You're gonna have to listen to me. But good news is I have good lungs. So, but yeah, it was good yesterday. That's awesome. Yep, I forgot it. You're another one wrestler. It was yesterday. That's awesome. Let's see. But yeah. Howdy. Albany, New York. I'm going to be a little bit slower today because I'm going to have to watch the chat to make sure I get everybody's questions. So hang in there with me. And then, tell me what'd you guys do for Mother's Day carnivore meals? Did you have I'm not going to say a cheat day, but did you have a planned treat, or did you stay the course? What'd you guys do? Oh no, Sandra, you can't forget your day. I say you send your son back to where he came from. Send him back to the sun store because that's a rough one. All right. Got to ask 2 days in a row, low blood sugar alarm from CGM went off in wee hours of the morning. Well, I think low blood sugar, I'm not a doctor. I don't know all these questions, but what I'm finding out, and just from listening to people, and I don't have that particular issue, but what I'm finding out is that, carnivore's blood sugars run a little bit lower than most, and that's fine. I mean, Dr. Phil in the SBG group talks about that. I've heard Ken Berry talk about that. I think it's just, and especially, I don't know, Sandra, if you're taking any insulin or any kind of diabetic medications, that might be lowering your blood sugar. But once you go carnivore, you might have to adjust those to taking less too if you're using them. But I would definitely like get into SBG and put that question into one of the doctors' VIP calls, or get into Ken Berry's group and wait till Wednesday when you can ask Ken Berry. But I think that they would mostly tell you not to worry about it, unless, obviously if it's getting way too low, there's something going on there. But if it's just below, I don't think there's anything there to worry about, especially if, how are you feeling? Is it affecting you health wise at all? And the first winter you've not used a toaster. uh, Hello from Massachusetts. Oh, now that's a meal fit for royalty for sure. Traeger smoked ribeye and shrimp. That's a thing of beauty. Right? I hope you kept the receipt. uh, awesome. That's a good Mother's Day. That's delicious too. Hi, Beth. Howdy, howdy, Josephine. Seeing as how you're in Texas, are you making it to Hack Your Health here in a few weeks? Mother's Day breakfast of champions, porterhouse. Ooh, now you're talking porterhouse and 3 eggs. No insulin meds. Went down to 56. Yeah, I don't know those numbers good enough. I don't know if that's an extraordinary low number or not, but I do know that a lot of people that wear those CGMs will have that low alarm go off on carnivore because we're just not eating any of that because we don't need it. And those parameters are set by, a metabolically sick, the average of a metabolically sick population, right? So I think, to be honest with you, those things are not really set for the metabolically healthy and, a healthy diet. Hey, Carnivore Scott. Carnivore Scott's in the house. If you guys don't already follow him, go check out his channel. Carnivore Scott. He has awesome content over there. He's always fun to talk to. Really, meat theft. I've never heard of such a thing, but that's crazy. Wow. Hey, Keith. Also, same with Keith. He's got a up and rising, awesome YouTube channel. Go check out Carnivore Keith NZ as well. He's got an awesome channel. Everybody, all my friends, I would put your stuff in the chat, but I'm flying solo today, so we're gonna be you're stuck with me, so I'm not gonna be good on keeping up with all the links and stuff. But go check out Carnivore Keith NZ. I tried a CGM, had to rip it off. Alarm always going off below 70, the normal. If you are keto carnivore, as long as you are not diabetic and diabetic NIDS, to stay consistent and don't spike. Yep. I believe that for sure. I mean, it's just like the drug companies to create a device that tells you that you need sugar so that you also need insulin, right? Excited for Hacker Health coming up from San Diego, California. Awesome. I can't remember. So it sounds like you're coming, Katie? Sugar should be between 70 and 120, so 56 is really low. Snacks on ground meat and fridge already cooked. I gotcha. I spent most of the weekend down in Orlando at cheer competition. Not me. My granddaughters. That's awesome. It's awesome to be visiting the family. As long as you don't get the shakes or blurry vision or brain fog. Yeah, totally. I wish no offense. Glad to meet you folks. I appreciate it so much. Next time, for sure, we gotta, this is just the beginning. This is the first meetup or events that we're going into. So I'm sure there's going to be lots more in the future. I feel like I should be able to, for sure. I do think that I'm going to be a little less bridled for sure, because I don't have to worry about ruin anybody else's. No innocent bystanders analytics will be harmed in the making of this video. uh, Only eating fish, beef, eggs, butter, and tallow. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably healthy as long as I don't know what all these arbitrary numbers mean anymore, right? Like, like I know that you all probably know this, but it still absolutely baffles my mind when you really wrap your head around the fact that those average range, those normal ranges on blood tests are literally just the average of the last 4,000 seem likely sick people that had that test done for labs, right? So they are gauging us on the last 4,000 people that had that test, what the average was for that last 4,000 people. And so that means that if everybody, if the tide is coming down and everybody's getting a little bit more metabolically sick, then the average is going to come down too. And now that's the new normal. So there's nothing to see here. If they're not measuring it based off of the average from 30 years ago or 50 years ago. They're measuring it on the average of a metabolically sick population. And then when you think about it, is some people go in for just annual blood tests, but most people don't get their blood tests unless there's a problem. So the pool is kind of tainted by a sick population, people going in there for problems because blood tests cost money. You got to take time off work. You got to get a needle put in your arm. You're not doing this for fun. So healthy people don't go in for blood tests very much. Sick people go in for blood tests. People that are feeling bad are going in for blood tests. So I mean, to me, that's bringing the curve down, right? like the whole average is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And as long as you're in the middle of the sick average, you're like, perfect, nothing to see here. So yeah, I'm just saying for that meter as well. I don't know. They say that 70, and I'm not a doctor and I don't know anything about blood sugar, but I'm just saying if they use that same logic and they're saying that 70 is too low, well, I would want to know why. Am I feeling bad? Am I lightheaded? Am I dizzy? Am I weak? You know, is it affecting my organs? Am I actually having a physiological problem, or is it just that the meter's going off because, maybe I'm healthier? And, it's just like, some people's heart rates, the healthier they get, run lower too. I don't know. I have no idea if that has any correlation, but it just kind of interests me. Katie, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, hopefully we get to see you down there. Are you going to the Steak and Butter Gang meetup or the Healing Humanity meetup at all? Right. I was caught off guard by all the obese children. There were 600 cheer squads with an average of 12 per team, 7,200 screaming cheerleaders, and so many way obese. Yeah, I believe it, man. It's crazy out there now, and it's becoming, the sick average normal. That's what I keep saying is people look at me and they see my whatever story, my before pictures, and they're like, how could you ever get to 700 pounds? And I'm like, well, if we keep pumping out insulin resistant infants, then I'm going to become the new average, right? At this curve that, this genius medical system is calling us, healthy or okay, or things are fine, nothing to see here. There's a there's a future where I was becomes the new average because we're all there, right? And if this keeps being allowed to happen, I mean, I pray that never happens. And you'd think, man, we'd have to be in a rough spot, but I've seen stupider things happen. For sure. Oh, that's funny. Hey, Keith's in the house. Can you talk more about Rumble platform you're looking at doing later on this year? Yeah, for sure. So I do have a Rumble channel, and I'm basically going to be what I want to do because, let's face it, YouTube does not let you speak freely. And I wonder, the bigger carnivore gets, the more politicized that topic's going to get, the more taboo it's going to become. And then you got to wonder if carnivore is going to be another thing that's going to be, labeled misinformation or whatever. And then you're going to start seeing warnings. You're going to start seeing, people trying to, shadow ban any influencers or whatever, so you can see it coming, right? We've already seen this pattern with everything else, the jab, the COVID crap, all that stuff. They did it, and they shut down any other opinions. It didn't matter if they were doctors. It didn't matter if it went against the narrative, the science. It's so funny that they call it the science. Couldn't be any more of a indoctrination when you call it the science. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is I have a Rumble channel. I have 30 whole subscribers over there. So, and it's same as this one. It's the Carnivore Cure over on Rumble. But they let you speak, and so does True Social, and so does X. So I'm never going to be off YouTube because there's too many people, and you get the new people on YouTube. But what I want to do is I'm not going to bring them up their channels, but there's a few people that I follow politically and things that have channels to when they are speaking of a topic that is deemed, I don't know, whatever, uncondoned or off limits for YouTube. They just blank out the screen and they put an advertisement up that says go over to Rumble to hear the rest of this kind of rant or tirade. So whenever they're going on kind of a topic or a rant or part of their live stream that YouTube wouldn't condone, they just pause the video on YouTube, and they put a graphic up that sends people to Rumble if they want to hear the rest of the tirade, because you only get 3 strikes on YouTube and they kick you off and a few things like that, and you get demonetized and shadow banned and all this stuff. So it they work against you if they don't like what you're saying. So we want to start pushing it over to Rumble, so that at least people that want to hear the spicier things can at least hear it for themselves, and so we can have those conversations. But that's awesome. Thank you very much, Keith. So tomorrow I have an appointment with a what does that say? Gastroenterologist for my liver. I would rather have a specialist like a hepatologist, or I don't know what that word is, but you guys do know I have dyslexia, right? You're trying to beat me up in here. But that's what I get to check for portal vein hypertension. Portal vein hypertension. Does that mean like a restricting of the arteries from hypertension, or how does that work, Scott? Howdy. Let's see here. Oh, awesome. For sure, the SBG one. We will see you there. If you go to healinghumanity.movie, so that's the documentary site. It's Homestead How, Adam, me, Bella. I think Chafee's coming too, but it's a little bit, that one's kind of a fundraiser. So we're selling tickets and we're catering it, but it's a fundraiser event. So, but if you're going to the SBG one, I'll definitely see you there. But yeah, check it out if you want to go. I think the tickets are $150, and it's a fundraiser, and it's a fancy smancy pants dinner someplace. The details are on there, but I will be there as well as a bunch of us. So yeah, thank you so much. There she is. Good morning, Lindy. No worries. No worries. Oh, hey, I was gonna tell you, I killed the stream on your and Michael's channel. I just don't want to make your subscribers angry. Because I hear that it makes your subscribers testy if it's scheduled on your channel, but then they come to watch and you're not on here. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to pillage your viewers and have them disappointed when they come on. So I just paused it. But yeah. So I didn't. I just thought about that the last second. I was like, oh no, because I just realized about 3 minutes before I launched that it was scheduled to play out on your or Michael's channel. So I cut it off there because I didn't want to make anybody disappointed when you guys weren't up. But no worries. And you and Michael both need a day off. You guys need to reboot your batteries. Lindy was working like, I don't know, what was it, Lindy? From like, you're getting up at like 5 a.m, getting home at like 10 o'clock at night for like, I don't know, the last 3 weeks that I've been talking to you for sure. And even maybe further. Thank you so much, Katie. I appreciate it. I'm going to build that. I swear. It's it's going to be a little bit slower for sure. The algorithms were a little rough. And when I get back from after the 4th of July, I have some fireworks stuff that I sell in July that's going to keep me busy. But after the 4th of July, I'm going to start moving more and more content and lives over to Rumble as well. But so sometime middle of July, that's going to start happening more frequently. Let's see. From Indianapolis. Hey, Darth. Oh, thank you, Lindy. I appreciate that. PVT is too big. Lymphatic system all flows into a portal vein. If your liver and pancreas or liver are blocked up, okay, as in fatty liver, the vein swells and decidedly poor outcome can happen. I gotcha. Well, we will be praying for a good report for that for sure, Scott. Hey, Linda. Yeah, no worries. Lindy's in the chat, but she's kind of taking the day off. She worked her tail off, and she's taking a reboot day, a recharge your batteries day, because she just worked about 3 weeks, like 18 hours a day straight. So she's taking the day off, and Michael has a fever and a head cold today. So when it rains, it pours, but that's okay because you guys get to see my smiling face. So that's why, because Lindy and Michael aren't on today, but they will be back next week, next Sunday. This is just lined up that way today. Any ideas why I get so sleepy as soon as I eat high fat or high protein meals? I could literally fall asleep while eating. That to me sounds like gluconeogenesis. When you say high fat, high protein, you'll have to actually narrow that down a little bit. This is one of the few times that I find it necessary to actually measure, because you might very well need all that. You might very well need all that protein and fat, but you might have to split it up amongst more meals, because the reality of it is your body is only capable of absorbing so much of it in one meal. And if you eat more protein than you could absorb, then your body will cause a process called gluconeogenesis, which will turn that protein into glucose, which will spike your insulin, and then it's like a carbohydrate crash again. So I would need more information on that, as how much, like, you'll have to like for me, the magic number is about 65 to 70 grams of protein. If I eat over 65 to 70 grams of protein, it'll spike my insulin. I got to stay 60 or below per meal. Like, so eat 60 grams or of protein or lower in about a 2 hour window to keep from spiking my insulin, which I don't always do. Sometimes I let my insulin spike on purpose because, like right now, I'm eating 36 eggs a day to address getting healthy hormones. So I'm okay with having a little bit of an insulin spike so that I can get the eggs in for the DHEA for the hormone healing. I recommend it, Scott. We need to not be silenced when that day comes. Did you, Michael, and Lindy join a group for supporting advice, etc.? Thinking about joining Steak and Butter. There are a few choices: Dr. Berry, Dr. Baker. So, Rustler, here's exactly what I'll tell you. I am an admin at Steak and Butter Gang. I'm also a member of Dr. Baker's group, and I'm also a member of Dr. Berry's group. And I go to all three of them. However, if you need really, really technical medical advice, I find that it's better to go to Dr. Berry's group because you can actually talk to him on Wednesdays, and that's really fun. But if you are wanting all things carnivore and healing, and also a support community, I find that the Steak and Butter Gang is by far the best. And Baker's group is really just handy to talk to Baker and see his videos that he does with people, but they don't really have any coaching or really any community there at all. You literally can talk to Baker every once in a while and you'll see that he does some interviews, but it's that out of all of them right now, the way it's set up is the least helpful. And that's not a dig on those guys at all. It's because they're not focusing on like on a community like that. They're focusing on getting Rivero going so that they can be actually, so it's not quite up and running yet, but Rivero is going to be a very carnivore based like medical community. So they're doing it more on the medical side and it's just not up and running. But because they're doing it on the medical side, they've had to slim down their carnivore community side. So that one's, if you just want to talk to Dr. Baker every once in a while, that's where you would go. But it's not really a community so much. There's not very many people in there either. There's like maybe 10 or 15 on a day, where Berries will have like 40 or so people in it, and Steak and Butter Gang can have anywhere from 75 to 300 in a meeting, depending, 275 anyways, depending. And then also we just started a new open chat in the SBG that's open every day for 6 hours. So you guys can come in and talk with each other. And Amy's usually in there and I pop in when I get a chance. And I'm in there usually a lot on the weekends. I was just in there for like 5 hours today. Keith's in there a lot, and that's really awesome too. So if you just want some general help, the SBG Gang is the absolute best. If you're starting carnivore and you need to know how to get over sugar addiction or you're interested in priming and fasting, they're the best. If you have a blood test you want read though, and you want very strict, very particular medical advice, then Barry's group is better for that. I will say we do have doctors on, though, quite a bit every month as well. And you can ask those questions to the doctors in SBG as well. Who's going live at Healing Humanity, or is anyone going live for the Hack Your Health? Yes. This is a fun topic. So I think we can let the cat out of the bag yet. I'm only not sure about one person. Carrie's trying to hear back, but I know 9 of us for sure that are doing a huge live on June 1st at 7 p.m. Central Time. We are going to do a giant live stream with the amazing Limitless Lindy, Adam at Carnivore Today, Carrie Mann from Homestead How, Bella, the Steak and Butter Gal, and Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Avardia, and Dr. Kiltz, and myself. Those are the 9 that we have confirmed, as well as the 10th one. I believe, hopefully, if we can make this work out, would be Dante Frigno from Frigno Freedom. So we are going to be going live for an undisclosed amount of time. I'm sure it'll be every bit of 2 hours, but probably longer. We're going to be smoking food. We are all going to be in the, this isn't going to be a remote live. We are all going to be eating dinner together at an Airbnb, smoked by us. We're going to be making some awesome food, sharing dinner, and having an awesome live Q&A and I believe fundraiser. I think we're going to make it a Healing Humanity fundraiser because, well, I'll be honest with you, just that live stream is going to cost about $7,000 to do to get everybody streamed, because logistics, when you put that many people together, suck. We got to rent 10 cameras and 10 microphones, and we have to rent a video switch and audio switch. And we had to buy a different streaming service software so that we could stream to more than 8 channels. So anyhow, and then we're feeding everybody that's coming. So it turned into a whole thing. So we're trying to make it a little bit of a fundraiser and stuff so that it, so that it doesn't take away from anything else that we're doing as far as documentary and stuff. So, but anyhow, so we're going to make that a fundraiser. Also, we're going to be doing a fundraiser on, I believe it is Sunday, Healing Humanity fundraiser, and Lindy put that link in the chat. And we are also be doing an SBG meetup on Saturday morning as well. And then somewhere in there, me and Lindy are going to do a little just low-key barbecue meetup for our subscribers that want to come and hang out and have lunch with us. So yeah, that's about all I know. But it's going to be a super good time, and I plan on to answer Keith's question, I plan on going live at all those events, right? And so everybody can meet the people that we're meeting and say hi. So yeah, that's how that's going. And also, me and Lindy are getting a DEXA scan, so we're going to be broadcasting live after our DEXA scan results. I hope to, if I can, I don't know if I'm going to make it work, but if I can get scheduled in time, I'd like to get a cardio echogram, or what is it? Cardio echogram or whatever, EKG, echocardiogram. I'm saying it backwards. Echocardiogram, and some blood work so that I can ask Avadia if my heart's better, right? Because it's, 17 months ago, going on 18 months ago, my heart was bad. I had congestive heart failure, blah, 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 blah. And I don't anymore. I know I don't, because I don't have all the symptoms. I don't have any of the problems. In fact, everything's exponentially better. But I want to see it on paper so that I can tell some pontificating pundits to shove it, basically. So you should celebrate your Mother's Day and just take it easy all day, Lindy. Thank you so much. Howdy, howdy. Absolutely, Keith will say hi. He says hi to everybody. You got to watch out though, because all the girls love Keith, and so you you got some competition if you're looking for the chicks, There you go, Sandra. So I have a non-scale victory. I am and my wife attribute to Carnivore. During our trip, we had lots of opportunities to get stressed beyond my usual tolerance. However, I am pretty cool and calm. Absolutely. What do they call that? The Carnivore Zen, I think. Carrie Mann calls it the Carnivore Zen. Absolutely. Thank you, Melinda. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm falling behind on comments here. Yeah, see my bed hair. This is my bed hair. It's got to be better than that. At least you have hair to have bed hair. right? uh for sure. I know. I guarantee you do. I'm doing my best, dang it. uh I have no real presence, and my YouTube is stuck at 483. Not easy to grow these social networks. No, it's tough, Scott. Like it is really tough. However, everybody that's in here, if you could go over to Carnivore Scott's channel and subscribe and get him over that 500 mark, because I think he gets his first level of monetization, if I'm not mistaken, at 500. See if we can't get him over 500. That'd be awesome. Lynn Tucker, protein insulin spike. That is something I don't know. Sometimes it happens to me. I get everything done, and recently getting so tired after, whereas I didn't before. Yeah. Well, Lynn, that's interesting, right? Because that same thing happened to me, but the process. So this, and I'm no doctor. This is just my own personal take on it. Is that carnivore is healing, and when we start eating correctly and we stop poisoning our body, we start doing carnivore, certain metabolic processes in our body heal. Like we become more fat adapt. We start being more efficient at turning fat into energy and burning it. Also, we start accessing stored fat, uh, burning it. That has a lot to do with the mitochondria, though. But also, another thing is called the process of gluconeogenesis, which is your body's process of taking proteins and turning it into glucose, right? And burning it just like sugar. And what happens is that process, as you heal your body, that process also becomes efficient and healthy, right? And so basically what happens to some people is the process of gluconeogenesis. And also I start to think maybe what it might be is that you were in a deficit, like you dug this big hole for yourself, where you were vastly malnourished on protein, right? Your body had a great need for a bunch of protein. Well, you start feeding it, then your body could process a lot of protein and absorb a lot of protein. But as you start catching up and filling that void, that deficit of protein, maybe your body doesn't need as much protein anymore. Maybe you're, I don't know how much protein you're eating in one meal, but maybe it's not as, maybe your body's not like such this protein black hole sponge that's soaking it up so quickly. But whatever seems to happen to people, it definitely happened to me. And I've talked to a few people that have had this happen, is after your body heals a little bit, your process of gluconeogenesis, your metabolic process for gluconeogenesis heals faster. And all of a sudden now, where let's say before maybe you were eating 100 grams of protein in a meal, and maybe you would absorb 60 grams of protein, and maybe you couldn't absorb the rest, but your process for gluconeogenesis wasn't very efficient yet. So maybe you poop it out. Maybe maybe it just sits on your stomach. Maybe it takes time for it to go somewhere, but it didn't necessarily turn to glucose. But when gluconeogenesis heals, all of a sudden your body's like, bam, you ate 80 grams of protein, but you only needed 48 grams of protein today. And so we turn the rest into glucose, and it creates an insulin spike because we're still very well insulin resistant. And it's just like you had sugar, had an insulin spike, dropped your blood sugar level, and then got tired. It was an insulin crash. And that was definitely happening to me. And so I had to, I had to double my fat. I had to start eating 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio. And now I make sure that I don't eat any more than 65 grams of protein. That's a personal level. Everybody's got to find their own. But how I did it was, I know that when I eat 70 grams of protein or higher, it knocks me out of ketosis. If I eat 75 or 80 grams of protein, it makes me really tired even. So long story short, the less I had to bring my protein down a little bit and bring my fat up to a 2-to-1 fat to protein by gram ratio to fix that problem. Sorry to get long-winded, but I like that topic. Exactly. Well, the cat's away, the mice will play. I get this shadow ban. You're never going to see me again. This hat's going to be, what do they call that place? Alcatraz or whatever. You're going to see this hat locked up on some on Alcatraz Island or whatever it is. I just realized I was behind in the live stream, so I had sped up. Thanks for letting me know about the live streams. No worries, Keith. So how many big names? Or so many big names. Yeah, exactly. It is a bunch of big names. It's crazy. It's crazy how we're in smack dab in the middle of that. Kimberly, I tried to fly in solo tonight. I late coming to the day. I've been smoking ribeye. Oh man, and a Ninja Smoker Grill. Man, I heard you got that. I got to get one of those the Ninja ones. They look awesome. Yeah, Lindy's taking the night off because she just worked like 21, 18 hours days in a row, and so she's in much need of a break. And Michael, as things go, sometimes he got a cold, and he's got a bit of a fever, and he is under the weather, so he can't talk. He doesn't feel good right now. So they are healing up. I wash the dishes. I save money there and pay for my steak. Absolutely. Let's see here. That is a fact. Keith is a chick magnet. Hey, Missy. Alyssa. Let's see here. $503,000 hours. That's the first level. Right on. Well, you're getting real close. You know, and don't let it discourage you. It's kind of crazy because I thought it was 1,000 subscribers, but it took me like the first 8 months to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, which unlocks all the monetization and stuff. And I thought, oh, this is, this is going to take forever. And it did take forever. And then last month I got 4,000 hours just in a month of viewer time, which I know is still tiny in the big picture of things. It doesn't mean a lot, but compounding and exponentially it does grow. So it feels like a lot, but it is that compounding penny, that really is how that works. So happy that you guys are going to do some live streams back. Hack Your Health. I actually decided to do a couple of the other road trips instead of Hack Your Health. Oh, no worries. Well, you do some live streams for us, and we'll do some live streams for you, so we can see where you're going too. That'd be awesome. Yes, I am Carnivore Cure on Instagram. Howdy. All right. Hi, Todd. Glad you're here. Howdy from California, Joan. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat here. Got a question for Scott. Scott, what's your channel name on Rumble? All right. I think we're caught up. Let me know if anybody has any questions in the chat. I'm going to look at one thing here real quick. Sorry if I make some noise. I got to go to YouTube. I wanted to check one thing. But tell me what your guys is, again, just if there's new people in here. If you haven't answered this question already, let us know if you're going to be in Texas or if you're making any of the events in Texas or meetup. Whew, sorry, I hate YouTube always opens up on a video playing. All right, perfect. I said check something I forgot to check. All right, and also let me know if any of you guys are in the SBG with us, and if you're in the open chat, and what you guys think of it all too. I think that it's been going fantastic. There we go. All right, but yeah, I think I am. It's crazy how fast Texas is coming. It just feels like a minute ago was 6 months away, and now what is it? Man, it's not even 3 weeks away now. Crazy. Let's see what this is. Yeah, yep. I'm going to be at the Sunday meetup. So is Lindy. Yep, I'm going to be at Sunday. We're going to be at the Saturday one, a Sunday one, and probably, oh, Lindy, I can't remember what day we picked, but it was something like Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to do another smaller meetup as well and kind of do live streams from all of them. So, yep, absolutely. Man, what am I looking most forward to? Well, meeting everybody, especially, Lindy and Carrie and Adam and Bella and everybody, meeting everybody I've been talking to for almost a year now. It's going to be fun to meet. And then I don't know if you guys are like this, but when you do big things, you look, I look forward to the planning of big things, but then I also look forward to the big things being done and completed successfully without a disastrous event. So I look forward to, honestly, I think what I look forward to the most is like Monday. I look forward to the Monday after all the big stuff is done so that we can just kind of take a deep breath and then just kind of hang out relaxed for a little bit. And because everything else, up until we get to Monday, everything is just going to be high octane crazy, right? It's going to be, I don't know, for me, like 10 and a half, 11 hours in the airport to finding a rental car to driving, pretty long distance to get to an Airbnb and get checked in and get unloaded, and then to go get all the stuff that we need, and then to plug in all the stuff that right now is all a hypothesis that it's going to work correctly so that we can broadcast this live stream from the Airbnb. And then we got to get like all the meat and all the smoking equipments and grills and stuff there so that we can make all this food. And then I don't want to cook bad food, and I don't want to get distracted and be serving all these Baker and Chafee and everybody bad steak. I would hate myself if I overcooked, all these tomahawks and stuff. That'd be a nightmare. And so we gotta make sure it cooks well. But I have, Brett. Well, there's Brett right there. Brett, who's your Carnivore, and Ashley from Carnivore Brothers are going to be coming down also to graciously help us out so that I don't burn all the meat because I got to be, we got to do the smoking stuff, but I got to go and be at an event Saturday morning too, or Saturday afternoon, or Saturday at noon, really, for the SBG meetup. And then we're eating again that night, which is kind of a bummer because I'm going to be going to an all you can eat Brazilian meat buffet at like 11, and I'm going to eat myself into oblivion at that thing. And then I'm coming back to smoke meat and then try to eat like a record amount of ribeyes and dino ribs on camera. I'm gonna have the meat sweats on camera, I guess is what I'm saying. I hope I don't go into a gluconeogenesis meat coma. That's going to be a rough one. But yeah, sorry I'm rambling. But so I look forward to getting past all that stuff without hopefully causing any Hindenburg like effects on the way. I hope we can do everything, and I hope it works out like I had it up here, Worked out my issue with dizziness was carbonated water. Yep, you were saying that, Liz. Or Sandra, that's so crazy because that's what my brother says too. Stop drinking it, bought a blood pressure machine, BP pulse, and was the fizzy water also kidney pain. That is crazy. Well, I mean, this drives me nuts because right now I'm drinking regular old bottled water because I'm testing that theory too. And I do think I feel different. I don't know if I wasn't feeling that bad about it, but I hate that it's in plastic. I can't find any water, like just regular water that's not fizzy water, that's not in plastic. It's so annoying. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I totally recommend it. I get nothing, so the only thing that I get for being an admin over there, and this is in some ways by choice because I don't want to have a conflict of interest. Right, the only thing I get for being over there is they gave me a free membership, but I don't I don't advertise SBG because I'm trying to sell anybody anything. I'm a member there, and it helped me a lot, and I truly believe into it and in it, and I truly believe in sending people there because look, I get a bunch of messages now from people that really need help, and I can't help them myself. I don't a lot of things I don't have the answers to. A lot of things there's too many people that need help that I don't have enough time in the day or enough ability to answer all the messages and stuff. So it is such an incredibly good tool to have a caring, like real group of real people. I mean, Missy's in there, Keith's in there, Lindy's in there, I'm in there, Amy's in there, Raymond, Bella, just Jeff and all the people, Dr. Phil's in there, just great people that nobody's trying to sell anybody anything. Nobody's trying to get famous. Nobody's trying to sell anybody anything. They just are literally going, hey, this works. This didn't work. This works. That's how I got through that. And it is very, very helpful. And I get it because I was stubborn and I did this for the first 9 months of my own as well. And I white knuckled everything and I was under eating. The reason why I went over there was because I had been stubborn and I crashed my metabolism. So I was seriously plateaued, seriously tired, seriously weak. And I started feeling like I was white knuckling things again, and I was gonna fall off because something was wrong. And what was wrong was I had undereaten so much for so long at the end because I was being stupid that I wasn't healing and my metabolism was crashing, and I had to go to SBG to heal that. But I didn't know that at the time, but I wanted to figure out what was wrong. And Lindy had good things to say about it. And so I went there, and yeah, now I just kick myself for not being part of that community sooner because like in the first meeting, I heard so many things that I wasn't sure. You have all these questions. Maybe this has happened. Did that make me feel funny? I feel like that might be having a negative effect, but you don't really know because, you think that, oh, that's just all in my head or it's some sort of weird placebo effect or you don't know. And then you go over there and you find out that there's just like Sandra was saying that for a lot of people, I'm finding out fizzy, carbonated water that you wouldn't think would hurt anybody. Well, there's a lot of people it makes them dizzy, right? So we're finding that out. And when I went over there, I was like, chicken makes me sick. Well, there's a whole bunch of people that chicken makes sick. And I thought it was all in my head. So it's just extremely helpful. And then also we all have this natural tendency to think we're overeating when we're undereating because we all came from a culture that says if you have a diet related health problem, then you're overeating is almost always what the cure is to eat less, right? eat less and eat vegetables. Well, so it's almost like we're brainwashed. Well, we are brainwashed into that. And even feeling good, even eating carnivore, you still get stuck in that, and you need people that can show you results and composition changes and kind of help you go, no, you don't. You have to be willing to heal first and then get lean. Don't put the weight above being healthy and healed and metabolically healthy. So I would highly, highly recommend it. Accidentally bought a beef shoulder roast instead of a chuck roast. Cooked it last night and I didn't like it. Cats are very happy. That's awesome. Beth, I can relate to that. Sometimes my dog is the happiest when I make a piece of meat that I don't like. Ribeye Ranger and Ashley from Carnivore Brothers, will be at that meetup. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I will definitely see you there. Yeah, Ashley, he's awesome. I don't know who the Ribeye Ranger is. I'm going to have to look them up. But yep, I look forward to seeing you, Lynn. Hey, Brett. Brett's going to be there. Let's see. Bag of meat was left out in the car for 3 days about 6 months ago. Foxes enjoyed it. Absolutely. It's going to be a good time, Lindy. I hope you're glad that we're cooking. That's to be determined. I hope that we don't get too distracted with all the stuff going on. That's all that I'm worried about. Heck yeah, Brett. We're going to try our best. We're going to try not to let anybody down for sure. Hey, Jill, thanks for coming. My kids are taking me to Fogo de Chao for Mother's Day. Hopefully they have plenty of lamb picanha. That would be awesome. That'd be really good. I've never had lamb picanha. I'll have to try that. Hey, Alone. I really enjoyed talking to you today in the FCBG live chat. It helps so much. That's awesome, Lone. Lone's awesome. Lone, feel free to put I know that you have another social media group that you were doing. Oh, forgive me, Lone. I forgot the supplements that you were doing in there, but it was like zinc and something, if I'm not mistaken. But I was going to ask you more about that. But no, it was great chatting with you today. But yeah, definitely post that in the chat if you feel free to network your social media stuff on there if you want to. 19 days until the Hugathon. Absolutely, Brett. Hey, Esther. For sure. It's nice talking to you today as well. After you guys hack your health is going to be absolutely amazing. I am jealous. No worries. Next time, Kimberly, this is the first of many, I think. Let's see here. Y'all got here from. Oh, that's awesome. That's way cool. Yeah, Dr. Phil's interview was amazing. Dr. Phil's such a good dude, and he's in the SBG and the open chat as well, and he's a wealth of information too. I love talking to Dr. Phil. Yeah, truth right there, Todd. SBG made me realize I can look forward instead of going backwards. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it gives you, this way of eating and community that we're in gives you a future, right? It's a light at the end of the tunnel, or it's finally no longer just a fad diet thing, So right now I dose in the morning because for me it's like my coffee. Like literally, I want to do two things. Well, three things. I want to take a pee, I want to get a shower, and I want to drink my iodine in the morning, because then my brain is on, cranked up to 11 once I do that. And so for sure in the morning. Now I have been playing with, instead of doing all 50 milligrams first thing in the morning, I played with doing like 50 milligrams at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and then 50 milligrams at like noon. What I won't do is 50 milligrams at night anymore, because it keeps my brain on. So, or sorry, 25 milligrams in the morning at 6 and 25 at noon instead of 50 just in the morning. But I don't really notice that it makes that much of a difference, to be honest with you. I think it's about the same, but I got to play with that a little bit more. I got a sous vide for Mother's Day. Nice. I'm so excited. Heard great things. It is a game changer, I think. So much fun, and you can use it to make steaks, but you can also use it for like your crock pot, right? It's like an even slower version of a crock pot, but the meat's fantastic. So you can, do those 84-hour sous vide briskets. You can sous vide, entire rib roast, right? You can do prime rib roast sous vide that are just fantastic. It's a game changer. How many are having seasonings on their meat at the Airbnb? I just mixed up French back and my bread's good. I love it. Bring it out. The only thing I can't, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say the only thing. I have a few things, but the only thing that's really on my no-go list is like chives and black pepper. So it depends on what's in it, I guess. Right on. Thanks. Sous vide is the only way to go for me. Get the silicone sous vide back. They open top. They work amazing. Yep, for sure. Absolutely. Oh, Ribeye Ranger's your husband. There you go. Both have channels. Lynn Tucker. Definitely check out Lynn and Ribeye Ranger's channels, please. Go check them out and subscribe. I knew that you had one, Lynn. I didn't know Ribeye Ranger had one, though. Thank you so much, Lynn. You made me smile. Great storyteller. Thank you so much. It's the gift of Gab, I guess. BS. I don't know. Let's see. Who's your Carnivore Brett was? Yeah. Brett had an awesome meetup the other day. That was great. So I think when I get off this live stream, I am going to try a new recipe. So I don't know. I haven't looked for myself yet, but I think that Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning has some bad mojo in it, which makes me sad, because I figured it probably did. But here's my idea. Let me lay this out of what my thinking was that I like chicken. I like the taste of chicken, I should say. Specifically, I liked buffalo chicken strips. I like Parmesan garlic chicken strips, and I liked buffalo wings, right? Those are the three things that I actually liked with chicken. But now that the chicken's all terrible, I don't eat chicken anymore. So I got to thinking a few weeks back about making fake chicken strips with white meat pork tenderloin. So I did a little bit of that, played with different recipes, and breaded them with the pork panko, deep fried them in tallow. That worked. But then the other thing I was realizing was, one thing that I like about a buffalo chicken strip, it was the flavor profile of taking a buffalo wing coated, or buffalo sauce coated chicken strip and dipping it in ranch, right? So for that kind of flavor profile. But I'm not going to dip it in ranch, because I don't care for seed oils at all, and I don't like avocado oil, which is actually technically still a seed oil. but it's a good one. But I don't like the taste of avocado oil. And so if I made my own ranch to dip it in, I would actually do it in sour cream, and I would thin it out a little bit. But I don't like having dairy because it makes me retain fluid. So I thought, you know what I'll do is I will take the pork tenderloin, I'll put it in a food processor, and I will grind it up to make like a paste out of it. And I will mix ranch seasoning in with the pork before I make it into tenders, and then they would have the ranch profile in it. And then that got me thinking a little bit further that one of my favorite pizzas back in the day was a buffalo chicken bacon ranch pizza. And I was like, oh, that's what I should do. I should make a buffalo chicken bacon ranch tender, right? So now what I'm thinking is that we take the tenderloin, we mix some ranch seasoning in with the tenderloin. Then I got bacon, thick cut bacon. I'm gonna add bacon to the tenderloin, so it's got a bacon profile, and I'm gonna process that up, blend it, so it's gonna be bacon, tenderloin, and ranch seasoning, and that's gonna be the seasoning for it. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna put it on parchment paper. I'm going to brush it with tallow, so it's got a little bit of grease on it, and I'm gonna air fry the crap out of it. So it's got kind of a bacon ranch chicken flavor, hopefully. And then I'm going to take that out and I'm going to dredge it in eggs. And then I'm going to double bread it with pork panko and probably a little bit of ranch seasoning sprinkled in the pork panko. Deep fry that and then dip it in Frank's Red Hot. That was my idea. But in all of this, I knew that the thing that might Speckeldorf me would be if the ranch seasoning, the Hidden Valley ranch seasoning, was terrible. And I tried to look, but I was ordering this on Instacart and from Costco, and I couldn't see the seasoning ingredients. And I kind of looked, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to order it. If the seasoning's bad, I'm just going to throw it away. If it's not bad, then I'll use it. So it got here, and then while I was waiting for it to be delivered, I asked people online, and they said, no, it's bad. It's got MSG in it. I'm like, no, because when it got here, being that it was Costco, I wasn't thinking, they didn't bring me just like a little jar of it. They brought me a whole tub, like a $25 tub of Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning. So that's going to make me sad a little bit, long story short. But if that's the case, if that's the boat that I'm in, then I will go ahead and dump it out and figure out, like, find a Chris Cooking Nashville or something and figure out how to make some healthy ranch seasoning. So, but anyhow, that's where I was at on that. So, but tell me if you think that's good. And also, to a caveat of that, I think I might grind up with that meat or coarse grind that meat paste. I might add some pickled jalapenos in there because, why not? Let's see here. There we go. Jill's back. Let's see. Oh, I went through this already. Sorry. I'm trying to find. I went too far. Sorry. Somehow I lost my place. There we go. Yeah, totally. Yep, and that's what I do too. So that's what I'm going to put on the outside of it. I just am trying to figure out this kind of ranch flavor profile without having dairy or any seasonings that are terrible. Oh, and Brett says his seasoning does not have black pepper, so that's awesome. Well, then I'm in. Meetup was great. I've just been seasoning with salt. What do you guys do for barbecue? Any dry rub? I don't do any. Like I just do for beef. I like to use rosemary and thyme, but like organic freeze dried rosemary and thyme, one ingredient seasonings. I don't like any of the pre-mixed seasonings because they hide crap in them. You know. No matter where I buy chicken, it tastes gross. Sad. I love my KFC hot chicken. No more. So I changed it to pork. Wow. I only eat beef and pork now. Exactly. I know I can't do the Yardbirds anymore either. They are gross. Yep. That's awesome for the dogs. Oh no, sorry, Keith. Oh, Keith is always fasting when I start talking foodie talk. Take it back and get my money back. I should. But then it's like it's always so funny, right? As carnivores, when you have food to throw away because it's poison, and then, then you're like, should I should I give this to somebody? Should I take it back? And it's like, well, how much do I believe this is poison? Would I give somebody else poison to eat? Would I return poison so that somebody else can buy it? But then of course it's not going to make a difference. But yeah, it's a funny conundrum to get into all the time with those foods. As long as it's once in a while. I'm going to have to go look at the ingredients. I still haven't read it because it made me sad when I saw the big jug of it that they brought. And I'm like, oh no. Coming Pork King. That's really good seasonings. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to see what that's like. I heard Hidden Valley Ranch had flour, which is why I'm avoiding it. That could probably be. That would figure. They either got to put some gluten in it, some sugar in it, some kind of nonsense all the time, huh? But yeah, that's not surprising. That's totally not surprising. But I don't know. So I'm just gonna have to keep playing with it. Now I was watching Chris cook in Nashville. Man, I love watching that guy's stuff, but I'm like, oh man, I don't need to pick up a new habit of making really intricate things because I get involved in those type of things and then I'll want to do them. And so, but I was watching it and he made something called chicken flour. And basically all that he does is he takes out chicken thighs, he trims most of the fat off it, he cubes it up, and then he bakes it on a cooking sheet like a baking sheet in the oven for I don't know, like 35 minutes at like 350 or something. And it was about 3.5 pounds of chicken thighs. And he baked it and he got a good portion of the water out. And then he took the hot pieces, he put it in his blender. He blended it up until it was, kind of a fine ground, lean, meaty little mass. And then he put it in a ceramic dish, spread it thin, put it in the microwave. He would microwave it for like 3 minutes, drying it out. And then he would put it back in the blender, blend it up some more, get a little bit more fine. Then he would take it out of the blender, put it back in the ceramic dish, microwave it for 3 more minutes. Yeah, he did this like 4, 5, 6 times, and it literally turns into a protein powder, chicken protein powder. It's like powder, which is crazy. I didn't know that would happen. So immediately I was thinking, I bet I could do that with pork, right? So that I don't have to do a chicken. And the reason why he does that is because he makes this chicken flour so that he can mix gelatin with it, and then he can use it to make coatings on things like breadings. And he can make bread with it. Actually, he can make bread with it. He can make bread coatings with it. And so I was like, that'd be kind of fun, because then you could take and mix pork rinds and like pork flour for a pork fake chicken buffalo strip. Then all I have to do is make my own healthy ranch seasoning and then just use a Frank's Red Hot and butter sauce, and you have a heck of a carnivore chicken bacon ranch fake chicken tender. I think would be pretty good. So I don't know. I feel that happening in my future. Plus, it would also make a pretty banging pork pizza crust, so that you can make a chicken bacon ranch pork crust pizza too as well. So that'd be fun. Slap your mama. See, it's really good. Sounds delicious. I have not. I will definitely check that out. The Bearded Butcher, check out his ranch seasoning. I definitely will. I see how things go tomorrow for fasting, but I appreciate everyone. Everything you do to this carnivore space. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Keith. Keith, you are a legend, man. Keith's got an awesome channel. You guys should go check it out if you haven't already, and subscribe and hit the thumbs up on some of Keith's video. He's doing awesome. But yeah, so that was just something. And then today, I've been making these omelets, and I was pretty surprised to look at the macros, which I don't do often, but somebody was asking in the open SBG chat forum today. And so I'm taking down 36 eggs a day, and I've never really looked at the macros exactly. I looked per egg how much fat that I need to add so that I can still maintain pretty close to a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio. But then I put these eggs in there, and I mean, I'm knocking down some protein per omelet, man. Per meal, I'm knocking down 262 grams of protein, 474 grams of fat. And I'm trying to do that twice a day, which, by the way, that comes out to 5,314 calories per omelet. So that's 10,628 calories a day, if anybody's keeping track, which is funny because I'm losing weight doing that. But I'm literally eating the 36 eggs a day for the testosterone, so this has been fun. But I was surprised to see that I'm knocking down, basically when I eat 2 of those eggs a day, I'm knocking down 524 grams of protein and 948 grams of fat, right? So that seems excessive, but it's working. But this explains why I was just telling DC was asking me the other day. I'm like, dude, I just seem to be growing muscle everywhere. I guess your mesomorphosis body type thing theory must be real. Well, I am also eating enough protein to grow a rhino. So, have you tried quail or other chicken tasting birds? I have not. I tried duck, and duck I just didn't like the taste of it, and it's very greasy. A grease that I didn't like, and maybe that's just me, but for some reason I'm not a fan of duck. Maybe I had a bad one. I used to think that I wasn't a fan of lamb either. But then I had I had lamb again, and I ended up loving it. And so I think I just had bad lamb the first time, and I sometimes wonder if the duck is the same thing. But I haven't tried any other birds. I should try some different kinds, because there's got to be some out there that are tasty. Well, like turkey. I mean, turkey's all right. But I haven't tried any other ones. Let's see. Yep. Brett's like, keep yourself busy. I forget though that Keith and you Aussies are going into your winter, and I now know for sure that it's the winter that makes it difficult to fast. Like, I think our fasting or maybe our survival prevalence, something is hooked directly to the weather and to the seasons, and your brain just is like, hey, guess what? We're not going to not be hungry today because it's cold outside and it just snowed. So that keeps happening to me. Quail is just like chicken, but juicier, in my opinion. Oh, well, that sounds delicious, because I do like the flavor of chicken. And the only bad part about chicken is it can sometimes be dry. So that sounds quite amazing, actually. I wonder what quail quail strips, quail wing. I bet quail have tiny wings, but you could make quail tenders probably. That'd be awesome. I'll have to try that. I'll have to find some quail. Had lamb tonight, ate lamb chops, seared on the grill. Yum, absolutely. Man, it gets silly when I get those lamb lollipop things, those lollipop chop things, those lamb ones. I'm not kidding. I think I could eat 30 or 40 of those, like no problem, in a row. They are one biters, and those things are delicious. Man, I love those. Lamb chops rocks. I've asked the butcher to not trim off the fat. It's my go-to midnight stack out of the sous vide to help me sleep. Absolutely, they are delicious, man. Those things are good. But yeah, so I don't know. Also, for anybody that wants to hop on, I'm going to put the link out here in about 8 more minutes, and we'll open up the chat. And anybody that wants to hop on and hang out with me and be part of the show, or introduce yourself, or ask questions, you are more than free to come on. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to the live stream in Texas. Is going to be really fun. I hope we can get a lot of views. I hope we can get some sponsors too. That'd be cool, because that way we can kind of go big time with it. I think it's going to be a really fun conversation. I'm trying to figure out my place in that chat, and because I just I just want to hear all the the doctors talk, right? But I think like Lindy could be fodder to give them something to talk about, because it'd be really interesting to see those doctors talk about that transformation and that that health turnaround, right? The how healing it is. It'd be fun. I'm just thinking of that optic, right? Of Lindy and Lindy, me, Carrie Mann had a heart murmur. He had the same anxiety and depression. Lindy, so much healing and weight loss. I had heart issue, so much weight loss and depression, anxiety. And Adam, that had traumatic brain trauma, all heal up, right? And so that would be fun if we can just give examples to them for them to speak of. And I mean, we're standing right there, right? So all the naysayers and all the little pundits, it'll be great to have. I think that contrast, that optic of us being living, breathing, like examples and miracles of what carnivore can do, and then the experts that it can point out exactly that it is true. Like that's going to be a hard testimony, evidential testimony for people to fight and just dismiss, like they so often do. So I'm really getting excited about what that's going to look like. Is deer okay? I love deer meat, deer sausage, deer jerky, deer steaks. Yeah, venison's great. When you say sausage and jerky, that always gets me nervous because I don't know what's in it. Like if you're making it and you know what's in it, that's good. You just got to be a little bit careful with what other people are putting in meat. So processed meats, no matter what it is, I just get a little nervous about, because they can slip some fillers in there, some things in there to make them taste better, kind of a little cheat code, But yeah, also I'd like to ask you guys to email me your questions at thecarnivorecure@gmail.com for the live stream. If you have any questions that you would like us to ask the doctors, right? So for Baker, for Chafee, or not even the doctors, if you want to ask Bella or Adam or Lindy or Carrie or Dante or me a question, or any of the doctors, we're going to have kilts Baker, Chafee, and Avardia all there. So if you want, send in your questions to me and just put the subject as live stream questions and put it in there, and we will, uh, kind of first come first serve, but we will ask those questions to the doctors live and try to get them answered for you. So if you want to email me those ahead of time, that way I can pull them up. And some of them, if two people ask the same question, I'm going to take whoever asked it first, and that'll cover all those same questions. But go ahead and email me those if you don't mind. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the link in here. Thanks. Thank you so much, Esther. I appreciate it. Here is the link if you want to hop on and visit here on YouTube. Feel free to hop in and say howdy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the meetup. I think it's going to be a good time, and I'm looking forward to finally meeting everybody. But man, there's going to be so many first there. First time at Hack Your Health, first time meeting all these people, first time doing a live this big. I mean, it's going to be pretty crazy. And then, I'm also going to, I'm not sure what night yet, but I'm going to try to go to Joe Rogan's Comedy Club and go see that. So I'm still waiting for the tickets to go on sale. But where we go, we got Brett.
Hey.
What's going on?
Just doing a little work, getting ready for tomorrow and catching your show.
That's awesome. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's been. Did you have a good Mother's Day? Did you treat everybody your wives and mothers good?
Yep, sure did. Sent my wife and daughter. They went to go to the movies, and I got my mom a massage, and
that's awesome.
Flowers, and it was a good day.
Made it through it.
Yeah, and awesome. I made them a couple pounds of shrimp on the grill for dinner, for their dinner.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had a couple pounds of lamb chops.
Yeah. How'd you cook the lamb chops?
I just grilled them on the charcoal grill. I used some of my good stuff seasoning and just grilled them just like you grill a steak. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, they come out really, really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to fire those up in Texas when we're down there. We'll have to try them out.
Yeah. Well, I had to get I usually get them at Costco, but my Costco quit carrying them.
Really?
So I got a Sam's Club membership, and I got some there. So
nice.
So when we're in Texas, if you need to go to Costco, Sam's Club, or BJ's, I've got cards for all three now.
Nice. That's good. That's awesome.
We can get into all three.
Oh man, it's coming up quick, isn't it?
It is. A couple weeks.
Yeah,
and it's going to be here.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, I got 16 days before I fly out. Holy smokes!
Wow,
that happened quick. Yeah. Oh well. So it goes. You never feel ready.
Nope. And me and Ashley will be there. Running the grill and cooking for everybody, and that's just right up my alley. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
be
time.
There with everybody and cook for everybody, and
that's gonna be awesome, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait either. No, it's gonna be a super good time. I'm way looking forward to it.
Yep. So I talked to Ashley on the phone, and we worked out some details on how to make the brisket and kind of get an idea of the easiest way to do things. And being that he's a local, he's going to bring a lot of stuff that I won't have to fly out in a suitcase or something, So I'm really glad he's coming.
That's awesome. that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be a really good team.
That's really good because I was getting really worried. I'm very happy you guys are going to be helping cook because I was planning on doing it. And then the SBG meetup is Saturday morning at like 11:30 to whenever. And then we need to be eating like at 6:00 Saturday evening. And I'm like an hour away from where we're having the meetup to where we're going to be doing that. So that means that's like only 5 hours difference. And I was like, how are we going to have this meetup in a 5-hour window and be back and smoke all this food? You know what I mean? Like it was going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody's going to have to, fill a leg with some food or something.
Oh, for sure.
You guys are going to be putting it away.
Yeah. I'm going to save it for our food because it's too bad because I wanted to set like a empty plate record at the Brazilian barbecue joint we're going to because it's an all you can eat. I think it's called Fogo de Chao or whatever.
Yeah, Fogo de Chao. That's what we have here too.
Yeah, and so I was going to try to set an empty plate record, and but now I'm like, oh no, we're going to be really eating that dinner that night, and I would rather. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Fogo's got some decent meat, but it ain't going to be like a smoked tomahawk. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
the way you could do is while you're at Fogo de Chao, you could have some lamb because they do have lamb chops, and they'll bring around like some picanha and maybe just have things there that we're not going to have
right
at the house.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to try that. Yeah, I'll just go. I'll go like strange specialty Brazilian meats that I don't usually get here. That's the plan for sure. No, that'll be fun. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. And then I'm hoping, I heard that Dante is coming at the last minute. I didn't find out till the last minute. So I'm hoping he's going to be joining us for the live, but I'm waiting. Carrie emailed them, so I'm waiting to hear back and see if that panned out.
I heard that too, that he's probably going to be there, and that'll be awesome. Yeah. Dante is one of those people that I can't wait to meet either.
Yeah, for sure. I want to meet him for sure. I don't know him, but he seems like a really good dude in his videos. So
yeah, he's going to be a good dude. He's been doing this for over 3 years now.
Yeah,
so he seems like a humble, just normal guy that any of us would probably be friends with.
Absolutely, man. I think so too. Yeah, he seems very much just like a normal dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He messaged me on my face. I started a Hoosier Carnivore Facebook page.
Yeah.
And he messaged me on there and was asking me about my meetup. So
that's awesome. You want to put your Facebook page in the chat for people?
I can, but I mean, if you just go to Facebook and type in Hoosier Carnivore, you'll find me.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
But yeah, I'll see what I got here.
No worries. Yeah, if you want to put your link. Also, did you stream? You can click that button up in the corner if you want, Brett, and stream this to your channel if you want. Want to say hi to your folks?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be super good time. You want to do an over under bet of how long that stream lasts?
Failed to post. Hard to put it in the comments, but I'll put it in the private chat and see if you can do it.
Yeah, must be some sort of permission thing. There we go.
I put it in the private chat.
Copy. And I'll put it in the chat. Here we go. Paste. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's going to go 3.5 hours.
I'd say that's a good guess. I know that it's going to go more than 2 hours, and it wouldn't surprise me if it went 4. So, yeah, 3.5 is that's right in there, I would think.
There's going to be, I don't know. Have you told people how many?
It's going to be 10. We're going to cap it at 10.
Cap it at 10.
Yep, because it got expensive to rent all the equipment to stream it.
Yep.
And so, and then also, I think it gets watered down if we have, I mean, 10's already a lot, but realistically, it's like 6 or 7 superstars. but it's really, so I figure me and Lindy and Adam are going to be starring all the super chat comments for all the, like, Chafee and all those guys are going to have a ton of those, right?
Yep.
It's going to be crazy. So we're going to be starring all those. And then I'm not planning on saying much. I just want I want them to be able to use us as an example to make points, right? So that we can sit there and then be like, hey, look, like, to me, it's amazing that Carrie's heart murmur healed, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? I want to show that my congestive heart failure healed. Not to mention the weight loss, right? The anxiety and depression. And then Adam, he had the brain injury heal, right? And he got cognitive function back, and motor function back. So these are all things that we are living examples. We can sit there. And Bella has a huge one too with her, with her skin and bloating and everything. But she had terrible, like, easy to, she documented all of her skin and stuff. Dante's transformation is incredible, right? So I think that gives these guys amazing fodder to all speak to, and we can sit there as examples. And that's pretty hard for, whatever, all the haters that always, want to beat us up. It's going to be pretty hard for them to dispute that when we're all literally examples of it right there. And there's 4 medical doctors that are speaking of it,
Well, I'd love to hear what Dr. Avadia has to say about it. Because he's the main heart doctor guy.
Yep.
And, having him and having Carrie there, Carrie telling everyone he no longer has a low ejection fraction.
Right.
No. I mean, Avadia's just got to love that.
Yeah, he should eat it up.
He should just be eating it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I agree. I can't wait to see how that plays out. I think it's going to be really fun, but I'm looking forward to that. And then
a good question maybe to ask Avadia is, do you think a low ejection fraction reversed because of carnivore or because of being in ketosis all the time?
Right.
Because we know being in ketosis is great for our heart and for our brain because it operates the best when powered by ketones.
Absolutely.
So you got to wonder if it was the nutrition or if it was
the metabolic state
powerhouse.
Yeah, the metabolic state. And also, why that's a fun question is because Chafee just put out a video the other day saying that, well, yes, you get into autophagy when you're fasting, but he said a ketogenic diet, you're often in a state of autophagy just from being in ketosis. So kind of what you're saying too is that if you're in ketosis, you're also in a state of autophagy, rebuilding damaged cells, which might heal the heart. Hey, DC. Hey, here's the link if you want to hop on, DC.
Hey.
We opened up the chat. But yeah, exactly. And so that's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a really interesting topic. And that's what I want to hear more of. I want to hear not only, there's all these things that they tell us that aren't, they're conditioned now that you just have to live with. Oh, you got lymphedema, you got lipedema, you got congestive heart failure, whatever. You have, these heart problems. Well, that's what you have now. You're just stuck with it, right?
Right.
But we continue to see these things healing on Carnivore. And we have these doctors here. We can talk about it because it's all these things. Yeah, and DC's got exact proof of things.
Hey,
DC.
How you doing?
We are doing awesome.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the live stream we're going to be doing from Texas and how what good questions it's going to be to ask, like Dr. Vadia and, Baker and Chafee and Kiltz, because we want to give them all the proof, the fodder of what's healed on us, and let them talk about it, because I think that's a powerful optic there, where we are the proof that people can't just dismiss, and these are the doctors reading the physical evidence of our healing.
Yeah. Bobby would be good to talk to, actually. Right? He's a heart specialist, right? And so many people have this BS misconception that saturated fat and meat in particular is going to damage your heart. It's saturated fat in pretty much everything. Like if you have a muffin or a cake or anything like that, it's still going to have saturated fat in it. And meat has very little saturated fat. And unless you inject it into your arteries, it's not going to clog anything. But it's also, I think it'd be great to talk to him about how healing the carnivore diet has been, because after any kind of trauma that you've had, in the past, be obesity or anything else, your heart really takes a fair bit of damage. And my heart was cooked, literally cooked, from chemotherapy. And they actually pumped it straight into my heart, and then it went out from there,
Wow.
directly. So, but my heart's in perfect condition. You see, some of the way I train, I don't have any heart conditions at all.
Right.
Now. I was AFib after my transplant, but that's gone.
Wow. That's crazy. That's so amazing. And so it does heal tissue, right? It heals.
Yeah, it heals soft tissue.
Yeah. That's incredible. And that's what we're talking about, is because, when I talked to my cardiologist, when they told me I had congestive heart failure, I said, well, how do I heal this? They said, it really doesn't heal. You're just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Well, then I talked to Baker, and Baker's like, bullshit. Congestive heart failure heals all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, my doctor told me. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, man, I was just going to say it's complete nonsense. You don't get much more trauma to the heart than getting chemo pumped through it.
No.
And I have CAC scans done on it on a fairly regular basis, or year by year sort of thing, when I get tests done, and I'm completely clear. But when I go to a GP, because my cholesterol level is slightly higher than average, they said I've got a 3% chance of a heart attack. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we were just talking about, actually, Brett, go ahead and finish your thought there.
Well, we were going back to, what the doctors were telling you, that, you're just stuck with the condition. Well, I had a doctor tell me the same thing about my type 2 diabetes. She said it's a progressive disease. It's just going to get worse and worse. And, we'll start you off on these drugs and keep checking you and blah, blah, blah. But never really offered any kind of solution to it at all.
No, that's right. It's the same. It's the same line. It's the same line for everything. My blood cancer is the same. There's no cure. You're stuck with it for the rest of your life. And the more you treat it, the shorter your remission periods, and the more treatment you're going to need. It's just going to get worse from here. It's I've already been stage 4 twice. How much worse can it get? It's just, but now I'm 9.5 years in remission, just from eating a high fat diet.
For sure.
I do. It's not just. Carnivore is not. You need more than just carnivore to get healthy and to get strong again, and anything like that. But it's a great start, and it's going to keep you on track. And you need, and it's certainly one. I would say the number one thing that you need. There's other things that I do outside of diet, but it's for your lymphatics, for healing my lymphatic system, and hormone production, everything else. It's just been absolutely amazing.
Right. it's kind of funny. I was looking today because in the SBG people were talking about, man, there's such a large spectrum of people, what they think is too much protein, what they think's not enough, what they think overeating looks like, you know? And I was sitting here, so I haven't been tracking my protein and fat really close since I've been doing the eggs, because I'm literally just doing the eggs because I want it, because I like the hormone benefit purely from it. And I'm getting a blood test here shortly, and I want to put a high number. I want to see my testosterone just like stupid high. So I'm going hard. I want to see this just for fun, just to get a high score. I want to have a good score. So I'm packing them away, but I went back and I read and I entered all the because I do put some bacon in with the omelet, because eating 18 egg omelets without some kind of bacon in them is not very fun. You get kind of tired of the egg profile, because I've been doing it every day now for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe even 4 now. What actually no, it was January, so
Are you doing
middle
18 eggs or egg yolks?
No, I'm doing 18. I'm doing 36 eggs a day, but 18 full eggs per omelet is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And so I measured that out. Anyhow, I didn't realize that the protein was this high. It's crazy. So per 18 egg omelet, I'm getting 262 grams of protein. And I'm getting, because I add the tallow in there so heavily, I'm getting 474 grams of fat. That's per omelet. I'm doing that twice a day. So I'm eating 524 grams of protein a day, and I'm eating 948 grams of fat a day, and I'm eating 10,628 calories of food a day, and I'm losing weight and getting I'm putting on muscle like crazy right now. It's so stupid, the definition that's happening in my thighs right now. And so
yeah. So that's great proof that, you know, calories is absolutely BS.
totally,
right, for a start. You know, we don't work on calories, we work on nutrients.
for sure.
And your body needs a certain amount of nutrients. If you can pack that much food in and lose body fat, okay, then you know your body just needs those nutrients at the moment.
It does.
And like another thing is like when you talk about like go high protein, high fat diets, it's an adaptive thing as well. Like, but like I know athletes that have like your average sort of way to work out how much protein you want. You can either do it by height or weight, ideal weight. So 1 gram per centimeter in height is your but these things are the minimum, your minimum protein intake. Okay.
Right.
But for like a sedentary person. Or you can do like 1.75 to 2.25 grams per kilo of ideal body weight. All right. But there are so many variants in there too. Like your lean, like how lean you are, how much body fat you have, how active you are, your ethnicity also takes into account. Plus where you live, like, because if you live in a hotter climate, like a tropical climate, then you may need more, because of you sweat a lot more and things like that, and the heat. But also your age. As you get older, your dietary protein intake it's a little bit more difficult to transform into muscle protein. So as you get older, you need more protein as well. Okay. Some athletes, like I said, like you might start from like 1 gram per centimeter or 1.75, 2.25 per kilo, but some athletes are on like 7-8 grams. Okay? So like 4 or 5 times that amount. So, but it's an adaptive thing. Like if you just suddenly went like from like a low protein or low fat diet and then just started eating all that, your body is not going to know how to deal with all that, and it'll start storing it as fat.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like, And so it's a progressive thing. So like if you say went from a standard Western diet to carnivore diet, for example, and then you started doing a heap of exercise, introduce it slowly. So like increase your protein and your fat slowly, and then your body will adapt to using those nutrients. So one way you can keep an eye on that sort of thing, like as you increase your protein intake, is get A1C tested. Because
Okay.
if you do take too much protein, for example, all of a sudden your A1C is going to go sky high.
Okay.
So you'll get the same problem as you would if you ate too many carbs.
Yeah. Right. And so that's an interesting thing. So here's what's been interesting. When I was eating too much protein and having gluconeogenesis spikes,
Yeah.
I was getting knocked out of ketosis, and I was watching that, right? I was watching my ketones. And what's weird is this is why I didn't think that the eggs had this much protein until I just looked today, because I really didn't care. I knew it was enough, and it was probably more than I needed. But it was because the eggs don't knock me out of ketosis. The meat was, but the eggs aren't. It's almost like it metabolizes different than the ribeye protein.
Yeah, it probably will. I mean, plus, I mean, at the moment, you're also probably more adapted to, like, because all your organs have to adapt to that protein intake as well. Your kidneys and your liver and everything like that as well. I mean, a lot of people say, well, like, you know, high protein diet's really bad for your kidney, but that's ridiculous. Like your kidneys and other organs, they like muscles as well. They grow to the intake of what nutrients you're taking as well. They will grow and they shrink as well. So it's like I said, it's just an adaptive thing. And as the longer you are on the carnivore diet, for example, the more protein you'll be able to use and the more fat you'll be able to use as well. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that I'm pretty adept now because I'm not, I'm not getting sleepy after eating this much. And I mean, my legs are, I don't know. It's like my thighs are on steroids right now. They're just, the muscles are growing like crazy right now. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm moving more, right? I'm doing some squats and stuff, but it's got to be these eggs, man. It's crazy.
Well, there's another thing too, like I said, like there's a lot of variance. Like for you, like I said, I've said before, you're a pure mesomorph, so it's going to be much easier for you. Whereas someone else with a different body type, like an android, for example, like me, like an android puts all their body fat on around the belly and chest, but they have skinny arms and legs. So, like, it's going to be very different for that body type as well. They won't see the muscle come on so easily as you are. So if I had the same amount, the same food that you were eating, it would look very different.
I got you. So does that mean that how do you say that? Mesomorph?
Mesomorph, yeah.
Mesomorph. So does that body type, so let's say that, I guess it'd be hard to find a baseline between two different people, but let's say that me and you had the same the movement a day, or output of energy a day, whatever. Would our body types, would I be able to absorb more protein out of my food than you would before it spiked my glucose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like even if we were the same height, same weight, okay, you being a mesomorph, me being an android, you're going to put on muscle a lot easier than I would. So you also, like, one of the thing is your body will transfer that dietary protein into muscle energy, into muscle protein much quicker and much easier, which is one of the things about being a mesomorph. But on the other hand, that's why you also get fat easier. Okay.
So, and I also want to throw this in there. I am eating that much protein, but I'm also fasting half the week. So I only eat 84 hours out of the week and I fast 8 hours out of the week. So it's kind of works out in the longer run to half of that a day, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's also, I don't want people to think that I'm,
But that's going to help with your definition for sure. Like, so, I mean, it's good. I mean, because you're doing that, you're doing the fasting regime at the moment, like on and off every week. Like if someone just started eating all that and just kept going, all week, that's going to store, you're going to store a lot more fat because you're not going to be burning that much energy.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, it'd be tough. And well,
Yeah.
it'd be, I mean, you'd have to be running 12 hours a day or something crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it was just interesting because I was just like, okay, if I gain a little weight, I'm okay with it, to try to fix my testosterone, because I felt like in the long run, I want to try to heal my hormones, because the reason why was I did the egg thing, but then I went on a 90-day lion diet challenge where I wasn't having any eggs, and that affected my testosterone. I could feel it. So that's why I'm trying to heal that before I get this, as much as possible, before I get this blood test, before we do this live. So I'm back on it, but I don't know how long I'll have to keep doing that. But I did feel that my testosterone went back down when I stopped eating the eggs. So I want to do it until I don't lose that anymore. I don't know, I don't assume that I'm going to have to eat 18 eggs a day for the rest of my life. I assume at some point things are going to heal,
I mean, once your hormone production's, optimal, you're not going to have to eat all that, and you can cut it. I mean, make it easier by just eating the yolks too.
Yeah. And that's probably what I'm going to start doing, is just drinking. Like, I heard that if you take like 45 yolks, they're equivalent in the DHEA to like 36 eggs, that you lose a little bit in the whites, but hardly anything, And so I've been thinking about doing like 3 15 yolk, just slam it down, shakes a day, and just do it that way, So, because now
that's kind of like the Vince Gironda sort of regime. Vince Gironda was a bodybuilder to the stars, and like trainer to the stars back in the 70s. He was like the original sort of bodybuilding guru in the 70s, really. Mr. Universe and all natural. They didn't have steroids and anything like that. But the steak and egg diet, where they just ate meat and eggs all day. They would have 36 eggs a day to increase their testosterone.
Yeah, that's where I got this from, because I started looking into it because I was like, okay, because my testosterone was terrible. It was like 230, 237 was my total testosterone, and then they put me on the bioidentical testosterone replacement therapy injections, but then I heard when you put in bioidentical testosterone that your body will stop making it if you're taking those injections. So then I was talking to some people, and what was crazy is all the old time farmers and ranchers around here, they all know, like it's an old time just information to all the older farmers. They're like, if you want to stay romantic into your late ages as a man, they said you eat 24 eggs a day. They're like, you eat 24 eggs a day and you'll be fathering children at 80 still,
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, wow. And all the old timers knew that, they're like, they would plow through the eggs so that they could, the eggs were their natural little blue pill, right? They knew that that's how you
the whole, like, people don't live as long as they used to. I mean, people live longer now than they used to. It's this total, asinine BS. Like, the childhood mortality was high, but if they made it to adulthood, they usually live pretty long lives, and a lot of them, like well into the 80s, 90s, and longer. In some, like even some regions of the world, I've heard of people living well over their hundreds. Over 100 years ago, 200 years ago,
right?
And they weren't I mean, now people get even close to that. They're living in a retirement home, having nurses. They're like usually got a colostomy bag or some ridiculous sort of thing going on. But people back then, they were still farming at that age,
right?
there's a there's actually there's a TV show in Japan. It's called Potentoi Kenya, and what it means is these really they sort of use Google Earth to find these really secluded homes in Japan, and they go out and visit them, and like just self-reliant homes. They grow their own food, and they do everything themselves, like cutting their old wood. And 9 out of 10, like most of them, are well over their 80s, into their 90s, and some even older, and they're still, they're still running a homestead by themselves.
Wow.
They don't have a nurse come out there and spoon feed them every day. They cook for themselves. They clean for themselves. They chop wood. They do everything that a normal homesteader would do. It's incredible.
That is incredible. Wow.
It's clean food, clean living.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cool TV show, although you probably wouldn't want to try that in America.
No, you probably get shot.
Yeah. A lot of people don't take kindly to just showing up and saying, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, that's so good. It absolutely makes me feel better. And I know, I don't know. I know that there's people all over the board, but man, that 80-20 fat to protein ratio works really well for me.
It does. I think it should be for everyone. I think doesn't matter. I don't care what diet you're on, like whether I think fat is absolutely essential for everyone, because we all have a lymphatic system. There's 5 major organs that are designed to absorb nutrients from fat. Right. So it is inescapable that we are fativores more than anything. Protein, we need proteins as well, but not as much as we need fat, or the nutrients that we need from fat. It's so important. And I think like at least 70 to 80% of your dietary intake should be from fat.
I think so.
Yeah, that's a really tough message to get out to people, though, because I know, like with my wife, she can't believe the amount of fat that I eat, and I don't think I eat enough.
Yeah.
She's like, "How can you eat all that fat on your steak?" And I'm taking a bite of the meat and then putting a little fat with it and eating it, and eating it as a bite together and eating the whole ribeye. And then if I do have a really fatty ribeye, I'll save the fat and then I'll take it over after dinner and I'll throw it in the skillet and fry it up and I'll eat that. And she's like, "You are crazy." And this is a person that's lived with me doing carnivore for the past year, and it's still not sinking in.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's those closest to us that are hardest to convince. But
yeah, possibly.
To me, like I pretty much deep fry my steaks, like, and I think you need to have a good mix of fats as well. You can't just rely on beef fat. Seafood is really good for omega-3s. Omega-3s are really important, but if you can't get a lot of seafood, lamb would be the next best thing. Lamb fat is really good for omega-3s as well. Pork is good, for potassium. So I think you need to have a good mix of fat. But one thing I do is also if I like my first meal, a lot of it will be either like bacon and eggs plus sometimes I'll just eat fat, just cubes of fat that I fry up, and that'll be breakfast, and always make sure that my meat is as fatty as I can find it.
That's interesting because so I eat a can of cod livers every morning for the omega-3s.
Yeah.
Because I heard that's one of the best sources of omega-3s. That's why I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then
if it's wild caught,
it's wild caught cans of cod livers, and they're in their own oil. So it's the cod livers in cod liver oil, and I drink all the oil, eat the whole can, and then I have half a pound of bacon and 18 eggs, but then I cook the 18 eggs in 3 ounces of beef tallow, and it soaks it all up. Yeah. So I'm kind of getting the tallow. I'm kind of getting the beef fat, the cod liver fat, and the pork fat all together.
that's
So that's
good.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good mix. You get all your vitamins and nutrients from that, so that it's going to be great. A great mix. You
You know what's crazy about that is this is the cheapest I've eaten yet on Carnivore,
know.
because just having a little bit of bacon, half a pound of bacon, and those eggs is so cheap all day, like compared to ribeyes and stuff, that I'm getting the this is why it blew me away when I was running the macros and looking at how much protein I was actually taking down, because dollar for dollar for that much protein and fat, that's pretty incredible, because I'm getting all that for less than $20 a day, and I'm skipping half of the week, so it averages out at like $9 a day to get all that nutrients.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It
it's
can
not
be
much.
even. It could be even better if you start making your own bacon.
Yeah, I bet that's true. And my own tallow. The two of the things that ran that up was my tallow and my bacon. Yeah, I could make both of those and probably get it down to $7 or $8 a day, and that's crazy affordable here where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, if you have a good butcher too, like you can get just fat trimmings, for free. Basically, they'll just give it to you because they have to pay to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll sell it to you pretty cheap.
Yeah, we're just talking about that. I'd probably make it 45 because they say that you lose some of the DHEA in the yolk or in the whites. I don't know. I definitely don't know enough about it, but it would be way easier to drink 45 yolks a day than it is to eat 36 eggs cooked a day for sure.
I think the amount you get from the whites is actually very little.
Very little.
Yeah. Most of the whites actually protein for the yolk to actually feed on.
Okay, so well then maybe just the yolks are just fine. Maybe it's all the yolks. I could just do 36, because it is, when you just do the yolks and you whip them up, man, I don't get it. People are like, oh, I couldn't drink 36 yolks. I'm like, they're like this big. They're so tiny, They're like, they don't take up any room. Like
easier than eating them cooked.
For sure.
When they're cooked, they're so dry. Right?
They're dry and heavy. But see, that's why I do it with so much tallow, and I whip them, and then I don't cook them all the way. I bring them out when they're still like runny and slimy, and I let them kind of cool down so that they're just soft.
Yeah.
Yep. My go-to lunch the last couple of days has been a pound of ground beef with 8 yolks in it.
Oh, nice.
Beef until it's all the way cooked. Leave all the fat in it, and then I separate out my egg yolks and pour those in all at once, and then mix them up and just let it sit in the pan for
just 36,
maybe a minute, and just kind of whip it around and get the eggs so where they're good and the yolks so where they're good and hot and mixed well, and then just pour it in a bowl and eat it. It's great.
That's
I really been enjoying that.
Yeah.
I do that with a when I do a burger. I'll put a kilo of meat, ground beef in the fry pan. I'll just flatten it out, and that's it. I don't add anything to it. But when it's finished, I'll pour all the cooking oil and stuff in. Like I'll cook it till it's dry, and then you pour the fat over the top, and it just soaks it up like a sponge. You just get all that fat back into it.
Yeah,
really good.
I'm gonna have to try that. Lindy makes something called an egg colada or something. She takes like I think 6 egg yolks and a couple of full eggs, but she adds like a couple of tablespoons of butter and a couple of tablespoons of tallow, and then she whips it up in a immersion blender, and then she puts it in the fridge. And I think that if you want to, you can put like a couple of drops of the vanilla extract or whatever in it if you want to make it vanilla. But it turns into like a colada drink, like a thick frothy drink, and she drinks it. So she said to try it. I got to try that with I think she puts warm water in there too. She uses a little bit of warm water, not much, but I think a little.
Yeah. It's much easier to drink the eggs than it is to cook them. As long as you've got fresh, like free range eggs.
Yeah.
I think you got to be really careful. Don't just buy like store-bought cage eggs, sort of like that's not going to do much good for you because they eat soy, they're going to pass soy into the eggs and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
But yeah, and they have to be fresh enough that you're not going to get any like salmonella sort of poisoning and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, I got 20 of my own chickens for daily chickens, but I'm going to try to get 30 more this summer so that I can have like 50 a day instead of 20. You know, really they render about 16, 17 a day out of the 20.
Yeah. So. That's cool.
So are you having those eggs pretty much fresh from the chicken, unrefrigerated?
Yep. Yeah. They never go in the refrigerator. When I get my chicken eggs never go in the refrigerator. They last longer. You put them in the refrigerator and they'll actually go bad quicker. Once you get fresh ones, they'll last like a month on the counter just out of the chickens, you know. But yeah, they're
as long as the bloom is still on them.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. We don't. A customer give me 3 dozen eggs fresh that he just got over the past couple of days. I was there and we were talking and he gave me the eggs and I've been eating them and they're fantastic. They haven't been refrigerated. You just got to wash the bloom off, crack them in the pan and eat them. And they've been fantastic.
Exactly. It's pretty funny showing that bloom on them because I was putting them in my Instagram, taking pictures, and I was like, "This is the reality. Sometimes there's chicken shit on your eggs when you have eggs."
Yeah, that washes off. It's all good.
For sure. Yeah, and that's the reality. We don't understand what we're losing by having all this bleached out, prim and proper, disinfected, watered down, bleached crap that we get from the grocery stores. There's no nutrients in it.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. Like you got to, try and mimic a natural life as much as possible, and that's part of a natural life. You have your own eggs. You have your own chickens. Pick up your eggs. It's not a big deal. Just wash a bit of bird shit off it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'm going to guess the bird shit, even if you had a little bit of bird shit, is probably better for you than the shit they're spraying on the eggs in the store.
Absolutely.
Turn white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Trying to make that clean egg sort of look. Yeah,
sterilized, whatever. And it's like this isn't the real world we live in. We don't live in a sterilized world, and we're not meant to be a sterilized species. Like it's not right.
Yeah. How did that ever get started? Where white eggs are supposedly better than brown eggs? I mean, my mother, who's in her 70s, believed that for years and never ate brown eggs like her whole life. They always had white eggs because they thought white eggs were better than brown eggs.
Yeah,
they were a higher class of egg or something.
Racist eggs.
Right. It's kind of like that, I guess.
Those are privileged.
In our house.
Those eggs are privileged. Yeah, but now that
I got started.
Yeah, now that you have those fresh eggs, Brett, I dare you to go back and eat a store-bought egg and see what that tastes like. Like that happened to me. Yeah. And I ran out of eggs, and I bought some from Costco, and there were some of those white ones that I had been using thinking they're eggs, and immediately I threw all of them away, and I got a 60-pack of them from Costco, one of those crates. And I got them and I was like, these aren't even food. These aren't even real. There's nothing in these.
Right.
As soon as you taste
them. The shells are so weak and soft. Like you pick them up and they break.
Yep. Yeah. There's no, like, they're like, you got to wonder if they even really come from chickens or if they're grown in a lab or something, Like seriously, it's crazy. Yeah. Oh man.
It depends on where you are. Like quality of food that you buy is so different. Like from here in Australia, the quality of food that you buy from the supermarket is completely different to Japan. Last time I was there, like the meat quality is absolutely incredible. Like more than half the supermarket was all just meat. And the eggs, like here, they advertise, like they keep telling you like eggs are high in cholesterol and bad for you and fat and all this sort of garbage. But in Japan, like the eggs are like, that's a great source of vitamin D, great source of this, and and they're great eggs too. Really, really rich eggs.
I'll laugh now. I think it's all funny. I ain't scared.
Never had
Turkey
a turkey egg.
I've had duck eggs. I've never had turkey eggs.
Yeah, duck
You
eggs are
know
good
where
too.
to get turkey eggs.
Mm. Mm.
Oh, let's
Most
see.
of turkey eggs here get turned into turkeys for Thanksgiving. So I've never even seen or heard of turkey eggs for sale in Indiana. Here in the
Yeah.
U.S. It could be, but not around here.
Yeah.
I'll put it up for him. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting though. I wonder what turkey eggs would taste like compared to duck eggs. Duck eggs are tasty, you know. Man, could you imagine trying to take down
Really
an
good.
18 egg duck egg omelet? That would be
Yeah, they're a lot bigger. So
huge.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
yolks
you can
and
probably probably halve your intake, I'd say.
that'd be awesome. I wonder what they do. I bet they gotta have pretty good hormone properties too.
Actually, another good bird for eggs is emu and ostrich. You know, like here you can buy if you go out west, you can buy emu eggs.
That's what Lindy just said too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
People
crazy.
have emus here, like in their own little zoos and stuff. I've seen them around.
Yeah.
And they have to
Yeah,
ask
there's
around.
emu farms. We have like emu farms around here too, and like an egg from an emu is like a small football, you know. So
Yeah,
Right.
it's a big
good
egg.
size. Yeah.
That would be funny bets. That'd be funny to bet somebody they couldn't eat like a 4 egg omelet or something to make a 4 emu egg omelet.
Bring out the big emu eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look like you got a some sort of what do you call them? Ostrich
Look like
eggs or
it
whatever.
looked like a damn big souffle.
What? Wrestler says emu eggs are huge. Sister ate them all the time. That's awesome.
Ah,
Yeah, that'd be good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, and then you got to wonder, you know, I don't know if this happened where you guys are, but in our country during 2020 and
Scamdemic.
2021, yeah, during the scamdemic, exactly, they poisoned all the chicken food, so we had an egg shortage, a national egg
Yeah, they
shortage.
did the same here. Yeah, that was global. Yeah.
Yep.
And they started burning down, chicken houses, chicken farms, and stuff like that too, to trying to create an egg shortage.
Yep.
Mm.
So dirty. And you got to wonder is like, okay, so there must be some powerful healing properties in eggs and beef that they keep going after those two things over and over, you know?
Well, that's why they keep demonizing them, like, because I mean, you're not going to buy their manufactured garbage if you've got a natural source that's healthy for you.
Exactly.
you look at the profit margin on Doritos compared to eggs. The
Yeah,
profit margin on Coca-Cola compared to eggs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, all those foods are government subsidized. Well, I should say taxpayer subsidized. Right. Like in every sort of like food program, they like in America, you get food vouchers and stuff like that. Yeah, and you can buy Coke and all that sort of stuff. Schools store this stuff. Hospitals have this stuff. Yeah, which means it's all paid for by taxpayers.
Absolutely.
So they get subsidized. Like you don't see a steak vending machine in a hospital. It's all Coca-Cola vending machine, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So like, governments keep signing us up for paying for this poison, and that's a problem. That's a real problem. They're using us to, our taxes, our tax money to pay for our own poison. And it's like
cheap. It's cheap and easy to keep all that processed food on hand and prepare it versus
it doesn't go off.
Eggs and hamburger for everybody. There's no profit in that.
That's right.
Just
There's no profit in people being healthy either, because the food industry basically just feeds the pharmaceutical industry. It doesn't feed us. So
Yeah, look at this shit right here. That's crazy, lambs. This is the type of bullshit that I'm getting real mad about because right now they're making them in Holland keep all the chickens indoors, so no more pasture raised chickens, right? So right now this is a scam, right? This is something we should talk about for real and make people aware of, because right now in the United States they tried to do the GPS tracking on all the cattle, and that they tag their ears and GPS track them. And they also are trying to do the mRNA vaccines in cattle and chickens right now. And they're
they've been trying to do that for the last couple of years in Australia too. They actually tried it on a few cattle farms. They injected them, and absolutely all of the cattle died.
Oh, okay, that's crazy. But here's what's nuts too. Okay, so this happened. And it went up for a vote to do the GPS tracking because they want to track them so that they could say, oh, if you're not tracked and have these mRNA, they want to track all of them so they can make sure they're all vaccinated. Because think about that. If every cow was vaccinated, then there would be no more clean cow seeds. There wouldn't be a way to have an untainted cow, right?
Yeah,
so they want to kill the genealogy and the lineage of these cattle, right? They want to taint the seed, right? So
they're poisoning our food supply, and once that's done, you can't get a clean supply again.
No, you can't go back. Not if we lose the origin of it, right? If we wreck the origin, we can't unring that bell. So they're wanting to track them so they can make sure they all get vaccinated. Well, we voted it down here. Okay, if you know what happened right afterwards, and I'm about to start cussing because it makes me so mad. Right after, we had the first case of bird flu that got into a cow. You think that's an accident?
Well, actually, I just posted on a different site on Gab. There was a newspaper article from January of this year that the US were doing gain of function on trying to make bird flu stronger, or and cross species sort of spreadable sort of thing.
Right.
And now, and like just a few months later, bird flu. Actually, I can bring those up if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring them up. Because seriously, we voted down. So what happens? It's another like Wuhan lab outbreak type stuff, but for bird flu, where it finally makes it into a cow and then a man gets bird flu out of it, right? They literally do that kind of shit so that they can force, they can have a scared, a scamdemic scare tactic to say, oh no, this is why we have to track all these. How obvious is it that when we vote it down immediately for the first time in known history, a cow gets bird flu?
Yeah.
Okay. Suspicious.
It's totally fake. It's an absolute red flag event.
It's just I guess it's just a coincidence that they've been demonizing meat for so long, and now there's a reason for us to avoid it. Right?
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, these are the topics that make me put the gloves on. Like these are the hills that I will die on. We're not tainting. Because what do you do? What's next? You're gonna have to start raising your own cows and chickens in the backyard, and then you get a knock on the door that says you can't have that cow because it's a danger to the humanity because it could get bird flu. Here we go.
So that's that was from, let me see, February, right?
Yep.
And next you get Texas farmer diagnosed with bird flu from cow.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, bird flu warning from scientists who say half of infections H5N1 in people are fatal. What a crock of garbage that is.
This is literally, we are watching right now the foundation of the propaganda getting laid for them to try to ruin ruminant animals and eggs. They're going after ruminant animals and eggs right now. And it's like, this is clearly because these two things are standing in the way of their agenda, right?
Yeah.
And what's going to come in for the rescue? Meatless meat.
That's right. Exactly. everyone has to have, the only way to avoid getting the bird flu is to go plant-based meat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the
Lab
plant
grown.
they're talking about is a bloody big chemical plant.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. They want to be able to control our health through our food. They want to be able to control the population through our food. They literally want, did you guys ever see that movie called In Time with Justin Timberlake?
No.
I really like that movie. It's probably the only good thing I've ever seen Justin Timberlake in. But it's a movie called In Time, and it was pretty cool. The whole idea, the premise of the movie is it's a futuristic movie about how you work for time, and so you would start.
Well, you do.
Yeah, you do. And on their arm, so when they're born, they have a clock. Okay, and when you hit, I think 16 or 18, the clock starts counting down, and you have 1 year of time on your clock, and you have to go work, and you get paid in time. So they scan your wrist, and your clock goes up.
That's basically the same as Logan's Run, yeah.
Logan's Run. That's what I was just thinking.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's an old 70s one.
Oh,
So
really?
Yeah, 70s, 80s.
in the 70s, there was a movie called Logan's Run. They have this little red sort of light in the palm of in their hand, and when they all reach 30, they all get killed. Like 30 is the oldest that this sort of controls the population.
Yeah.
But there is like throughout, I don't know, from the 60s onwards, like there's been movies, all these movies. They're basically telling you what they want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like these leaders around the world. They're all in this big cult that is like they think that if they tell us what they're doing and we don't stop them, then it's our fault. That's basically how they think.
Right.
And they tell us through things like these movies and TV shows. Did you ever see? There's a spin-off from the X-Files. There's a spin-off there called what was it? The Lone Gunman. Did you ever see that TV show?
I didn't see it. No.
Okay. Well, about 3 months before the 9/11 happened, their very first episode was that exact scenario.
Wow.
Like exact.
Wow.
There's an old movie called The Last Chase. You guys should see that one. The Last Chase. It was the guy that did the Fall Guy TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was an ex-race car driver, but
Yep.
the beginning of it is so prophetic. It starts off with the world's in the middle of a pandemic, a virus that went global, killed so many people, and the only way to do anything about it was everyone had to give up everything that they owned, everything, their cars, transport, everything like that, and then the only thing left were these micro cities that these 15-minute cities that they're trying to push now. No one had their own transport. There was all just these electric cars that went by, and you used them like taxis. And any sort of thought crime, like if you spoke out against the establishment, you were arrested. And like, how much of that are you seeing right now?
Right.
And it's just like George Orwell's 1984. V for Vendetta is another one. But how they took control of the world was they, the government unleashed this virus that killed so many people. And yet we all had to go into these little micro cities to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do release lab grown, these are all just false flags and their scare tactics, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're using
population will, I mean, the thing is, like, if you allow the government to take control off you or take liberties off you for a crisis, they're going to continue to make crisis to keep taking more liberties off you.
Right. That's 100% what we have to do is we have to stop buying their drugs. We have to stop have to stop giving these people our money. We have to start buying into their fear, and we have to stop watching their programming.
Exactly. Yeah.
We do that, and they're powerless. We give them all the power.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we have to
very
be
few
responsible about what we ingest, and that means information as well as food. You know,
Mm.
so
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. That's why I just don't watch the news anymore, because it's all built to stress you
Right.
out,
it's just
to make
it's
you
propaganda.
Yep. all
Yeah.
garbage. You know, I just
Yeah.
you know
You're
It's
I,
exactly the same as Nazi Germany. Like back in like Nazi Germany, they weren't allowed to turn off their radio, and it was just their 24 hours of propaganda just going. They were legally were not allowed to turn off their radio. You know?
wow.
And that's exactly what's happening. Like you look at the news now, that's exactly what's doing. Yeah.
Right.
And it's in every TV show, every commercial. It just keeps on going.
Sandra, I don't know if the other shoe will ever drop on COVID, because I hope that everybody's awake enough that they know that should be just an absolute shit show. I don't know anybody that's going to listen to it a second time. We didn't listen to it the first time in my
Yeah.
family, but I don't know of many people. I mean, try talking to the ones that got vaccinated and died of blood clots. Try getting their family to buy into that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. And there's so many people now that have adverse effects.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the truth is coming out, and this is the only good thing. This, I don't know. Yep. Repetition, brainwashing. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
Yeah, if you repeat a
People might
lie
not-
often,
people
it
don't
becomes
believe it.
the truth.
Yep, for sure. And that's why they want to silence the truth, and then they want to buy off all the social media and turn everything into propaganda and just keep running
Yeah.
it over and over.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and I
right.
mean, we all run into them every day. It's pretty funny. Oh, I should pull this.
That's why I'm so glad Dr. Barry's starting his diabetes society.
Yeah,
To try
that's
to
awesome.
counteract the American Diabetes Association. And I would,
Yeah.
I was going to ask Dr. Avadia if he thought it would be a good idea to start an American Heart Society versus, to take on the American Heart Association.
Yeah.
It sets policy for cholesterol and all these other, bullshit things we have to live with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's easy to say, like, everything needs to change. But the thing is, we have a lot of structure, a lot of infrastructure that is very useful. But the problem is, it's the heads of this infrastructure that we need to change. Like we can still use these systems. We could use these systems a lot, but we just need to get rid of the people that are running it.
For sure.
Mm.
Well, it's just like you can hear people repeat this propaganda and this fear mongering. Some of the most common questions I'm getting anymore is, well, how do you guys do this and get off? How do you just get off your medication, or how do you do this and when and fight your doctor? What do you tell your doctor so that he doesn't fight against you? It's like, why are we still playing in this game with these people? Like, I'm not sitting here I'm not giving any medical advice. I have no idea. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore in the medical field, but what I do know is I've never seen them do anything that made me healthier. So at a certain point, you just gotta make your own decision, and you gotta jump, right? You gotta rely on yourself and what you believe and God, and just go for it. And that's what I did,
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a choice. You either keep following this doctor, and like, if you do, think about, are you feeling any better for it?
Right.
And the other choice is to become more responsible of what you ingest, and think about like the information that you get and the food that you eat, and try and take responsibility for your own health. It's really not that much work. I think, especially, I think that the overreach in this last few years has helped to show people that you like your average doctor, they don't care. They will inject people with stuff that they have no idea what's in it, but they get paid to do it. So they just don't care. They just inject it and inject thousands of people with this stuff that they have no idea of any sort of adverse effects. As long as they keep getting paid, they don't care. Yeah. The ones that, like your average, like all these, and you see these ridiculous musical numbers that hospitals and everything put on over the last few years. They're not heroes. They are complicit in one of the greatest crimes against humanity. If you want to look at heroes, look at the ones that stood up against it. Yeah, they are the heroes. Yeah. They didn't take the paycheck. They didn't say, I'm just doing my job. They stood up against it. Those are the heroes. So like, whenever someone says, oh, but you're not a doctor, like doctors are like in the top 3 highest cause of death in the world. So, okay, like you got to weigh up to yourself. What's more important is, can I trust the information I'm getting, or can I trust myself with eating the right food, or should I blindly keep following these white codes that are just making me sicker?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
What's strange is, these doctors, they have liability insurance for, if they make a mistake, well, that covers their butt. But if they don't give you the medication and you get sick, then they get in trouble. So they have to give you the medication. And if the medication makes you sick, they're covered by their insurance.
Yeah. But we had, we had actually in Australia, the pharmaceutical companies, the government gave them clemency. They have absolutely no responsibility here in Australia for any of the effects that their drugs give. But the people they did make liable are the doctors. So, if they have adverse reaction or anything like that, they can actually sue the doctors here. So they're in a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble very soon. And lawsuits can be very effective.
For sure. That's more effective than a lot of things. Yeah. Right? If you can take their money.
Yeah, I mean, like, even in a country as corrupt as Australia, and I mean, like, corruption is like from everywhere in Australia, like the police force, the court, the government, everything. It's just everywhere. But even in a country as corrupt as Australia, just last month, the High Court, the Supreme Court here, ruled the everything that happened over the COVID lockdown in Victoria as being illegal. So there's going to be a lot of lawsuits come out of that too.
That's awesome.
So that's one positive step. There are positive steps being made. Problem is that lawfare takes time.
For sure. Yeah, it takes a long time to go through the legal system, and then you have to pray that it doesn't get swept under the rug and somebody, get bought out. I forgot, this is kind of off topic, but this was a comment I got today, and I put it up here so that people can see it because I thought it was a funny comment. It was on a video I was talking about our food being corrupted in our food environment,
So if you're not a buff gym bro, you can't say anything about food?
I guess so. I guess losing nearly 300 pounds in 18 months and reversing congestive heart failure and getting off oxygen and getting my mobility back and getting out, getting off all the medication. That wasn't enough, but it was just funny. That's why I was laughing so hard. I wouldn't have put this up here, but I was laughing. I was like, this guy's retarded. And I was like, actually, that's the perfect comeback.
Yeah. I tell you, like, I don't know. Sometimes you look at the longer you do YouTube, I think the less faith I have in humanity. Honestly, like some of the stupid comments, and just ridiculous people out there. Just,
Oh,
I mean,
there-
they're literally. I mean, some people literally want to be spoon fed as well. Like they don't want to do any of the work themselves. They don't, and it's really not that much involved.
well, but it's not quick. The biggest problem, because
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, because it's like it drives me insane because people want help and I want to help them because I know how terrible it is to be in poor health, right? And
Yeah.
I don't want to just turn them away without giving them help, but they'll send me some pretty heartfelt, terrible, gut wrenching messages about situations that they're in, and they're scared and they're lost and they're depressed and they don't know what to do. And then we'll start talking, but then so they'll go from this really heart wrenching message, and I'll tell them, okay, I would do BBB and E, and I would get off all this stuff. And within one message, they'll say, well, I could never stop having X, Y, and Z, like immediately. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but you just told me you were dying. Like,
Yeah.
are you dying, or are you dying and now you're fighting for your life, or is that not true? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I hear people that say stuff like, iodine's been huge help for me, and I know some people don't have that, but it's huge for me. And I tell people they say, I think I have a goiter, I think I have a thyroid problem. And I'm like, oh, you got to try this iodine. And they go, oh, I can't stand the taste of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, what did you just tell me? It's one drink.
I mean, how much are you gonna drink? Honestly,
Yeah, it's one literal gulp. Like, people do shots of nasty alcohol all the time for the effect of alcohol, and you won't do one shot of iodine that could save your life.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
there are things out there that some supplements, like iodine, for example, that would really help people, but or to make things easier. But look, one of the reasons I don't sort of I don't back or promote or tell people to take these different supplements and stuff like that. It's generally speaking, stuff that they buy off the shelf is not going to help anyway. But they really need to just get back to a natural source, as much natural source as they can.
Yeah.
That's going to improve everything. But like you said, there are some things that will help make things easier. But when you look at, when you start telling people that you have to go and buy this, and this, they just switch off.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I totally understand that too. Like, but when people are telling me, because I don't know, I can only relate to what worked for me, and I was having a goiter problem, and this iodine honestly has been one of the most closest thing to like a day and night miracle pill for me that I've ever had. So I must have been really deficient in it, which kind of makes sense because I don't eat seafood and I'm not by the ocean. So I don't get iodine, right? And I didn't used to eat eggs ever. I'm doing it now, but eggs are like the greatest source of inland iodine that you can get,
That's right.
But then I listened to Dr. What is his name? Dr. Brownstein on Dr. Kim Berry's channel, and he talked about how everybody is massively underdosed with iodine right now, and it's getting depleted out of our soil. And then you look up and whatever you want to believe, but I think they do chemtrails all the time, and you got to wonder what that's doing to the iodine that's in the moisture in the air too, because that's how iodine gets inland. It's through the air, through the moisture in the air, and lands on the land and into the soil. So,
well, yeah, I mean, when it rains too, like like the rain cycles, like clouds soak water up from the oceans, and it and then it rains on the land, and it gets iodine and things like that. But the soil that food grows in, and that even what cattle eat is depleted because we're also losing topsoil from all the crops and things like that. But there's also things like chemtrails and air, even if they weren't chemtrails, there's still air pollution from all machinery and stuff that we use anyway.
Right.
And it's just we are deficient in many things. Like your average person is really highly deficient in things like magnesium, okay, potassium, your usual electrolytes, okay. Iodine's another one. Iron is another nutrient that most people are deficient in. I was before I changed my diet. Like, I was very deficient in iron most of my life, like growing up. So because I was on the standard Western sort of food pyramid, you eat a lot of crap food, you're going to be deficient in everything. And D deficient. And when it comes to things like vitamin D deficiencies, for example, like D is a hormone. It's not a vitamin that you ingest. So if you eat a lot of fat and you bring your it become fat adapted and become like you carry more lipids, or you produce more lipids, more cholesterol, you produce more vitamin D, okay, more D hormone, D3 hormone, because that's what the body produces. You get like testosterone and D3 all comes from, basically just produces from cholesterol, okay. Your liver produces it, all right. So if you make sure that your cholesterol levels are high, okay, you're going to be 9 times out of 10, unless there's something else going on, then you're going to produce more testosterone and more D3. So your immune system is going to be a lot stronger. Okay. So that's why I say, like, you have to have at least 70-80%. We are fativores. Okay. That's why, like, people who live in the Arctic before Western diets, they never had a deficiency. They never had a T or D3 deficiency like most Western diets do. And they didn't suffer
either.
No, that's right. They had no deficiencies at all because they had a good mix of fat. Right. They were fativores. They ate fat from all different kinds of animals. They even ate polar bears, fish, seals, whales, things like that. So, this having a good mix of fats. But the problem is, it's just not that readily available for people. So you're going to have some deficiencies.
For sure. Brett, that's Brett's meal prep for this week.
That's right. Wanted to say hi to Andy Ty, Zero Carb. He was at my meetup. He's a native. Awesome. He's a neighbor of mine.
Oh,
he lives here in my town.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you, Andy.
Let's go back to that D deficiency. Yeah, cholesterol is very high, but vitamin D. Okay, if for your liver product, like your your cholesterol producing D3 also relies on sunlight. So when you go out in the sun, okay, this will trigger your liver to produce more vitamin D. Okay, so it'll actually come up and out in your skin. It's actually your natural sunscreen as well. So the thing is, just eating carnivore diet is not enough. We need to get, our mitochondria basically are batteries that need charging, and you charge them by grounding yourself, like earthing. Okay, grounding. Go out and spend some time on the grass or sand or wherever you can, barefoot and in the sun. Natural sunlight will help you will help your body produce more D3. Okay, so it needs that reaction from the sunlight. It needs that charge from the sunlight for you to start producing more D3. Okay, so that's a natural source. Okay, other than that, I know some people do supplement, but it's like with testosterone supplements, right? If you start injecting yourself with, say, hormone replacement therapy sort of thing, like testosterone, then your natural hormone production slows down because it figures, well, I'm getting it from another source. I don't need to work so hard and just stop producing it. Okay. So that would be my suggestion. Get more sunlight. Okay. Make sure your fat intake is high. If your cholesterol is good, levels are high, that's good. But you need more sunlight as well. Otherwise, it will trigger your body to produce more D3.
I know if Dr. Barry was here, he would say your cholesterol's high. So what? Who cares?
Right.
You know,
It's a good thing. That
it's a
should be
good
a goal.
Right.
and you know, our body produces like 85% of the cholesterol that's in it. So
Yeah.
you can't really eat enough cholesterol to really affect your cholesterol all that much. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, we need to stop worrying about cholesterol. What you want to make sure is that your HDL is high and your triglycerides are low. That's the main one.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
the thing is,
finding out
if
people
you
with
are
high
fat
LDL
adapted,
are living longer.
yeah, if you are fat adapted and you do some intermittent fasting and things like that, then you're going to produce more lipids, okay, which is what your cholesterol is, right? But your brain is basically made up of fat and cholesterol,
Yep.
right? So ketones, are also very good for your brain for help you think, get rid of that brain fog, and it's also very good for your heart for the firing of your heart, your electrical impulses. So, which all starts from the brain as well. So, I think high cholesterol should be your goal, and you can do that either. And dietary fat intake doesn't really affect your cholesterol levels because you actually produce more cholesterol from your liver, but you have to be fat adapted so that your cholesterol levels will continue to rise. So being fat adapted is really important. That's why carnivore is so good. You know,
For
Yep.
you
sure.
don't want to interrupt. You don't want to interrupt that fat adaptation by eating carbs. You know.
And if you're eating a good, carnivore diet for at least 90 days, our skin, we get new skin every 3 months. So
Yeah.
as long as you're eating good protein, a good carnivore diet, you're going to build a healthy skin that can withstand being in the sun longer.
Yeah, that's right. Hmm.
And
Yeah,
you'll
I
be
mean,
able
like
to absorb more vitamin D.
I mean, when I was younger, yeah, I would burn quite a bit, and like especially like after going, like if you're going through chemotherapies, like I was going through, I was like a vampire. If I went out in the sun, I'd explode, right? Like if I opened the curtains in the living room, I'd get sunburn, right?
Right.
But now, like I can spend all day out in the sun. I go to the beach and I'll spend all day out there. I don't burn. Might get a pink tinge, and the next day it's gone. Yeah.
14 UV days. Man, that's high. Woo. I would turn into bacon on a 14 UV day. Wow.
You don't need a whole lot. Like your body will react. Less than 10 minutes out in the sun, like in good sunlight, even 5 minutes is going to help your body produce more D3. Okay, it'll make your body react, and your D3 will come out naturally. Okay, so I think there are other things that you need. It's not just the carnivore diet. You need sunlight. You need that natural light, and you need at different parts of the day. So like in the morning, first thing in the morning, you'll produce cortisol, which is a wake up hormone. So it'll wake you up for the day, so you can you feel more alert, more awake, and it sets your body clock and your organs body clock to produce hormones at the right time of the day. So if you go outside in the evening, for example, and do some grounding at night, you'll produce more melatonin, which is a sleep hormone. So it'll help you sleep. It'll make you very sleepy and drowsy, which is what you want. And when it comes to sleep is so important. But you produce more melatonin before 12 a.m., before 12 midnight. So, and every hour you sleep before 12 is like the equivalent of 2 hours sleep. So the earlier you sleep at night, the better you will sleep. So I always try to be in bed. Actually last week I was so tired, I was asleep by 7 o'clock at night.
Wow.
But I usually I'm between 8 and 9 o'clock I'll go to bed and I'm up about 4 o'clock in the morning. So those are the best hours to sleep,
That's funny. I didn't know
then,
why, but there's always been, all the farmers always said the hours before midnight are the ones that count.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing good happens after 10 o'clock at night anyway.
Right.
Right. So, get to bed early, get up early, and you'll set your body clock right. This is also very important that for your hormone production. If your body clock is set to the circadian rhythm, okay, there's sunlight, you're up. At night, you sleep. Okay, so light, wake up, dark, sleep. It also, for not just for your cortisol and melatonin, but for all your other hormones, it's really important that your body clock is on time.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a big difference.
I know that the earlier I go to bed and the earlier I get up and the more consistently I do it, the better I feel always.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's other things too, like sunlight is not just important for helping you produce vitamin, like the D3, but, a lot of people now are using what they call red light therapy. It helps with your skin conditions and healing, basically, even wounds, like skin conditions like eczema and things like that. But healing your skin and also your immune system. But you get red light from the sun. So I know, I've seen on YouTube that these billionaires that buy these red light therapy beds and they spend 10 minutes in there a day and say how wonderful it is. Go out in the sun for 10 minutes. It's free, It costs nothing to be out in the sun for 10 minutes, right? And you get the same effect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are some fresh eggs.
Never had that happen.
No, that's a new one for me.
Rehatched overnight on the counter. That's great. Yeah, they're fresh, all right.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I think, man, this was a fun live. Yeah. Shout out to Michael. Hope he's feeling better. He was under the weather and woke up with a fever today. So, and then Lindy's taking Mother's Day off. Post Mother's Day off for in Australia there, because she worked there. She's this beat. She worked because her daughter's got a flower shop, and Mother's Day is like their busiest time of year. So she put in I don't know, 20 some 15-hour days in a row. So she's like, I need a day off.
I think her daughter's still recovering from surgery too. So yeah, hopefully she's doing okay.
She is today. Shout out to Catherine. You're in her prayers. She's getting another eye surgery today. Right now, she's probably happening right now.
Yeah.
So shout out to Catherine. We're all thinking about you and sending you prayers. And
hope it goes well.
Yeah, absolutely. But so everything's going awesome. But thank you guys for coming on. Help me hold down the fort while the team's down.
Anytime.
Yeah, absolutely, it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys out there for hanging out with us. Happy Mother's Day to y'all, and happy belated Mother's Day as if it was yesterday for you. And we will see you next Sunday for another episode, and look forward to it. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.